Oh, let's jump into Flickers of Divinity, The Whispers in Silence. Long ago, the first man fell in love with the goddess who protected their world. She returned their love, and together they brought forth the great races of Aeneas. Do so, she had to surrender her divinity and take on a mortal life, an act thought impossible for one who had tasted immortality. But even as a mortal woman, the divine spark lived on within her, and it shows itself again in her descendants from time to time. Many who are born with the divine spark never know it. They excel in whatever field they choose to undertake, but no more so than the practiced hand of an expert. And in time, they die out, never knowing that they possessed her light. But to the precious few who answer the world's cries and become heroes, their spark ignites and they become the gods and goddesses of Aeneas. Fueled by the belief of their worshippers, they live on past the bounds of mortal life and grant boons to those they favor. And in time, their worshippers die out, and so too do they. Over the generations, the divine spark has become increasingly rare, and now it is said that only about 1 in 1,000 possess her light. So rare is it now that most are unlikely to ever know they have it. But for those that discover the light within themselves, they will have the chance to live on and be remembered for great or for terrible deeds. On Radio Mira, 616 ATF. There we go. Welcome, travelers, to the land of Terrasin, the largest continent on the planet Aeneas. Long ago, Terrasin was the dominion of man, the youngest of her children. These days, it has become something of a melting pot for the many races of Aeneas. Vast and varied is the continent, from the frozen peaks of the Kartok Mountains in the south to the arid wastes of the Viper's Eye Desert in the north. From the rocky Soren mountain range in the west to the beauty of Moon Bay along the Twilight Coast in the east. Whether it be worshippers journeying to the sundered blue on a religious pilgrimage, people looking to make a living working in the great bellows of the Dragon's Breath Forge and Stone's Throw, or perhaps even adventurers seeking the mythical glade of Lyradil, the people of Terrasin now come in all shapes and sizes. It has been over 7 centuries since Scala, the dread demon of hatred, was vanquished by the goddess Laki over the sundered blue. In that time, humans have maintained complete control over the political landscape of Terrasin. However, in the year 754 ATF, the elections of the Stone's Throw Council saw a dramatic shift in power as 3 of the 15 seats on the council swapped from humans to tieflings. Combined with their one other seat, plus the 2 seats of both the elves and the dwarves, this marked the first time in the continent's history that humans did not hold a ruling majority. But I can see that it is not the political machinations of the continent that have your attention. You seek a story, one that will tantalize the senses and illuminate the mind. And it so happens, I know just the tale. The story of the Whispers in Silence is a grand one indeed, and it all begins with the swing of a pickhammer. Kaldana, we will begin with you.
Oh, good.
Our journey takes us to the frozen peaks of the Kartok Mountains, far to the southwest. You have spent the last 3 days journeying from Kiro's Haven to Hale's Roost, a distant outpost in the northwest corner of the Kartok Mountains. It is a perilous journey by any stretch of the imagination when the weather is good, and the weather has not been good. It has been, in fact, quite terrible over the last few days. You have had barely any chance to sleep, maybe an hour a night, but if you know that if you bunker down for too long, the snows will trap you in and there will be nowhere to go. It will mean the death of you. Which is where you find yourself on day 3 of what should be a 4-day journey, although you suspect now that it is going to take much longer than that. You are currently climbing a cliff face, as you have done thousands of times. You have climbed all manner of things. You are rather comfortable with it. About 80 feet up and to your left, you can see Hridus, a battle brother of yours in the Fangs of Kartok, one of your team members and someone you have worked with for a very long time. Meanwhile, about 20 feet and up to the right of you is Rarka, a brand new initiate, making the trek to Hale's Roost for her very first time. You're pretty proud of her, actually. She has not complained. She has handled herself quite impressively for a first time, and you have no doubt in your mind that she will make an excellent Fang of Kartok at some point. So, you are currently in the process of climbing. What do you do?
I keep climbing.
Interesting. Go ahead and make a perception check for me. First roll of the campaign.
Oh, why do you put this one on me, Callie?
Don't mess it up because it will set like the tone of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
a total
Callie-
of 19, so like
Very good. Very good.
Good.
not a bad start.
So, while you're at it, go ahead and make a athletics check for me.
I'm good at those.
With your perception check, I'll allow you to make it with advantage.
Ooh. Well, clearly I personally did not make a good one because I was about to roll a d12.
Well, that would be a pretty bad roll, yeah.
Dirty 20.
30, 20. Excellent. So, you begin to climb. It is quite a ways to the cliff's top that you are trying to make it to, and the good news is once you get up there, you will be able to make camp, or at least you hope, so long as the weather, which is finally starting to die down, begins to calm. As you climb, your trainee glances back at you and makes 3 loud bangs on the side of the cliff face, signaling for your attention. And she signals down to you, how much further do you want to go? Speaking in wind speak.
How much farther is it to the top?
It's probably 300 feet to the top.
Well, if the weather's finally dying down, might as well try to go the whole way.
Excellent. Go ahead and make a athletics check for me.
15.
Go ahead and make a perception check as well.
Oh no. 16. I don't know what's up with my rolls being right next to each other, but
Not a bad place to be. As you continue to climb, you've done this many times, although you are a little tired, but still nothing that you're not used to. And yet, as you scale another piece of it, you bring your pick hammer up with the chisel that you've been using to place plants into the wall, and as you hit it, something happens. It makes a cracking noise that you're not used to hearing. It sounds wrong. Not like what you're used to hearing when you do this. And the reason becomes very obvious very quickly. As you hit it, your hand and the nail go right through the wall. And
Oh,
all
no.
around you, things begin to crack. As you start falling forward into the darkness that you have now opened up a hole into. At some point on here, this whole layer had sheen over, and it was just a small little piece of ice. However, for a 15 and a 16, I will allow you to make a dex saving throw to try to save your protege, who you realize very quickly is about to come down on the rope that she is attached to you on and come with you on this journey.
nat 20.
Very nice.
Hey.
So as you start tumbling forward into this darkness, literally the bracing under you where you're kind of leaning over at first cracks and gives way. And as you start to go down, you hear her let out a yelp, even over the fierce winds up here. And you bring your pick hammer down, spin it around to the bladed side, and slash the restraining line that keeps the two of you together, cutting clean through it. As you plummet into darkness, you don't know how long you fall for. It is, in your mind, you think it has to be an hour, it feels like. But you realize in some distant part of your mind, it's actually probably a few seconds. It's not, you don't fall for that long, maybe 10, 20 seconds. But long enough. I need to roll some numbers here.
That's good for spine decompression.
Yes.
Less so if you hit the ground on your spine, though.
Undoes everything.
It does. Yeah, it really turns the clock back.
Kind of makes it worse, really.
Yeah.
All right. I need you to take 78 bludgeoning damage as you slam into the ground.
And I'm dead.
So,
78.
Well-
78 bludgeoning damage on the way
Well,
down.
and there was the story of Kaldana.
It
New
was a short tail.
character.
It's a short tail.
Wow.
You weren't attached.
So,
Bruh.
at the moment of impact, a strange thought crosses your mind as you are in the pitch black. The sound. It's one you know. Fools have trespassed in the Kartok Mountains before under your watch, and it was you who dealt out the punishment for such action. As your pick hammer made contact with their skull, the bone did not break, but instead was crushed into powder, squelching horribly against blood, flesh, and brain matter. And as you hit the ground, the sound is eerily familiar to you. You lay there for gods know how long, hearing the distant
someone's
calls. What?
Do you just pick into somebody's head? Just go in somebody's brain hole?
Well, or people tend to sometimes.
Don't go into people's brain hole.
You lay there for a very long time, hearing the distant calls of someone. You hear a voice ringing down into this dark chasm, although you don't really recognize who the voice must be. Soon another voice joins it, calling, Kaldana, Kaldana, are you there? Are you okay? And you don't quite recognize the voices, who they be. Somewhere distantly in your mind, you must know who they are, but it doesn't matter anyway, because answering back at this point is an impossibility. In your mind, again, you think it must have been hours that you're laying there, but distantly you know it's probably been seconds. And soon the pain fades away. Somewhere in the vague recesses of your mind, you understand that this is likely your body shutting down as death approaches. But death does not approach. Instead, the clicking of heels on ice do. And as your eyes wearily open, the pitch black of the cave slowly becomes more illuminated. And soon, standing next to you is a woman, one of the most beautiful you have ever lay eyes on. She's an elven woman wearing a shimmering long red dress that seems to radiate warmth and light. Her hair is as fire, given form, shades of red, oranges, yellows, even whites and hints of blue near the base. Her eyes radiate white light into the area, and you can only make out the vaguest hints of her irises from within these gleaming pools. And I'm going to try and see if I can show you all this. Still learning Roll20, so we'll see if this works properly.
This will be on the Roll20 part.
Yeah, it should. So let me know if this person just popped up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
This
right.
system works.
Okay,
is-
maybe you might want to get her brain hole for sure.
All right. So she appears next to you, and you can see her cascade her head up and look towards the hole from which you fell, and then back down to you. She smiles. That was quite a fall. And you find yourself able to speak in this moment.
Yeah, hurts like hell.
Well, it would. Every bone in your body has been shattered. You are dying. My lover will be along for you shortly.
Cool.
Don't let that detract. Don't go for it.
Do you not like this fate?
Can't say I'm a huge fan of dying.
Perhaps another, then, would be more to your liking.
You gonna elaborate on that?
She smiles and lets out a laugh. It is... You haven't heard a lot of elven women in your life, and you don't know if they all laugh this way, but boy, do you hope they do, because it is a radiant noise that she lets out as she laughs. Yes. I am the Red Lady. I am the goddess of rebirth. Do you know me?
Can't say I do.
This is not surprising. Many of yours here do not. The god of death, Boss, is my lover, one whom I have served and walked alongside for many, many years. It is frequently my job to ferry souls to him that he may favor them when they are reborn. However, as it turns out, I have need of you, Kaldana Aristotter. I will hide you from him. And in exchange, you will help me with a favor that I need.
I mean, yeah, sure, not much of a choice, really.
Not at all. She looks somewhat taken aback. Make no mistake, you have a complete choice in this. You may well pass. You will be reborn in another life, as all are. Or most, anyway. She smiles at that. Or you may continue to live this life and offer a portion of it to me in service. But the choice is yours. It is one that
Well,
you must make.
I'll stick with this life.
A wise decision. Very well, then. And she kneels down next to you and places a hand over your chest, and the warmth that radiates into you. You're in the middle of a cave at the base of a mountain now. It's real freaking cold in here. It's really cold. However, hold up, I gotta turn off the sound of Roll20 because that's gonna drive me insane.
Sorry.
I could make the sound if you
No,
want that.
I would prefer you definitely not do that.
It's hard to tell what you want sometimes.
I know. Text chat options. Is that there? No. Oh God, tell me there's a way to turn these off.
I mean, we could just use a different chat, I guess. We were just using that one, but we could just use a.
I just need to know if there's a way to turn this sound off.
There has to be.
There is. I just need to remember how you
Could
get
mute
to
the
it. Hold on.
tab.
You must
Um,
press.
Text chat options, enable background chat sounds maybe?
Oh, yeah, I think that's right.
Oops,
That
sorry.
seems-
I accidentally cleared the chat log. That I did not mean to do. Okay,
Text chat options settings.
it's done. Yep, I got it.
Okay, cool.
I
Hold on. Wait.
I think someone else has to.
Great.
Can't
Yep, it's
thumbs
fine.
up Mal's comment, but it deserves a thumbs up.
All right, we're good now. Sorry about that. Yes. So, Gotta smiles and she presses a hand onto your chest, and the warmth that radiates through you in this freezing cold place is very comforting. You can feel your bones reconnecting, which is less comforting because only then do you realize how many of them were not where they were supposed to be. As your body begins to straighten itself back out and life is breathed back into you for the first time. Well, not for the first time, for the second time, technically. She smiles down at you as she completes her work and offers you a hand to get back to your feet. There is a great catastrophe approaching this land, one heretofore unseen in this world. If allowed to come to pass, it will mark the end of all things, and I charge you as my champion in standing against it. Should you survive, then this life will be yours.
That's not intimidating at all.
It is a great task that I ask of you. I know that there are many chances that you will die, but you will not be alone. You will have help. And if I do say so myself, you could have worse gods and goddesses to have your back. If you would avert calamity, journey to Mina's grove. Seekest thou a woman struggling against the webs of fate that have her ensnared? She will be your guide, though she does not yet know it. I cannot force you to live up to this bargain. I am the goddess of rebirth, and I do not take life. I give it. You could, if you so chose, ignore my commands, although, allow me to assure you that my lover does handle death, and he can be exceedingly cruel to those who have wronged me.
In this grove. Got it.
She gives you a knowing smile at that. Excellent. Oh, and do take care of the firebird. It will aid you. And with that, she vanishes. As you look over your body, you see you are healed. You're fine, actually. You may restore to full health. It's as if you never fell. Except for one thing that has definitely changed about your body. There's a tattoo on it that was not there before. It is of a beautiful, radiant firebird. Plumage of oranges, yellows, reds, and it moves across your flesh. It flies, literally, across your body, occasionally perching on a shoulder or your collarbone or wherever it feels comfortable. But you have a firebird that now flies with you. I believe I've sent you the details of your magic tattoo. I have all sent you all your details of your magic tattoo. And yes, I did write them. And yes, I should know what they do. And yes, I will forget what they do. So don't hesitate to remind me. And with that, you see that in the distance, with the firebird glowing just enough to illuminate the area, you can see flowing water. And you know that flowing water means that there is an exit to this cave somewhere. And you begin your journey towards Mina's Grove. Melody.
Yes.
We journey now far to the east of where we just left Kaldana, to the city of Winter's Grip. So named because it is always cold in Winter's Grip. It is just at the edge of the Kartok Mountains and not far enough north on that side to escape the ever winter of the lower Kartok Mountains. It is only above freezing for a handful of weeks every year in Winter's Grip. Today is actually an unusual day in that regard. It is a dreary and gray day, as most of them are in Winter's Grip. With temperatures unseasonably warm, the normal snowfall instead comes down as a miserable freezing rain. Each time a droplet splatters on you, it sends a shiver straight to your core. And yet, that has not stopped the crowd of people from gathering as you sing and dance for them, performing in the city square of Winter's Grip. Actually, before I do this, Kara, will you describe Kaldana to us? I'm going to have to have Mel do that too.
Wow, I just completely blanked on what my character looked like. About 6 foot-ish before the horns. She actually has like a split set of horns. Wearing lots and lots and lots of furs because the weather was absolute trash. Red skin, as all tieflings have in this world. Blue hair, orange eyes.
Perfect. And Melody, to that end, will you describe Melody for us and also tell us what your performance is like?
All right. So, Melody is hold on, let me check how tall she is actually. She's a 6'4", or yeah, 6'4", dragonborn, with iridescent, deep and dark, purple scales. When the light hits her, they kind of like let out a prismatic light. She has horns that kind of like spike out and then spiral out. And they are adorned with golden jewelry, and some small golden beads that wrap around and follow the pattern of her horns. Um, as she's dancing, she is actually going to transfer these links from her horns, and just kind of like start kind of connecting them between in the space between her horns, and create like a little crisscrossing pattern to add to the effect that her scales are doing right now. As she kind of not approaches, but she kind of absentmindedly strums on her lute before she uh lets out one vibrant strum, and she's going to go, hello, my name is Melody. I am a bard, and I wish to share with you a simple song from my peoples. And she's going to just let out one strum on her lute, and open her mouth, and she's going to go. When the nights are cold and you're all alone, close your eyes and feel our warmth. Let the song wrap around you and remind you of simpler times and kinder hands. We have come from afar to help spread the word and keep hope alive in you. Think of all the dreams you keep in your heart. Let it grow, let it shine, let it show. And as she's singing this, she's going to um just dance around in a brief circle. And as she finishes, she's going to just do one final strum on her lute and spread out her hands.
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, I didn't realize I was going to get an actual song. What an awesome bard. Uh,
Yeah.
Go ahead and take.
For Mal singing.
I like that we got a Mal scream off that bit donation.
Oh
So
my
Mal, you may take an inspiration for the 500 bits for that Tilly just donated. As with all games on this channel, 500 bits or a gift sub is an inspiration for whoever you like. So you may take an inspiration for that. You may take an inspiration from me because I am awarding you one. And you may also roll your performance check with advantage.
Nice. Okay. All right, hold on. Let me actually put inspiration, put 2, and performance check with advantage.
Oh. Thank you, Evriana, for the gift sub. Very kind. Who's can I assume that inspo is going to Mal? Oh God, here comes more. All right, 1 sec. Thank you, Dorkflux, for the gift sub. Another one for me because that deserves all the inspo. So Evriana grants Mal an inspo.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Darkflux, is that going to? I presume. Another Mal. Yep. All right, Darkflux, and take another one from
Alright.
Darkflux. Very nice.
Shit. All right. Fuck.
All right.
Thank you.
What did you roll on your performance check?
20. Hold on. 20 something. 23.
Great. You may take 23 gold pieces. As people start throwing. So you've traveled around a good bit of Terrasen. You have been to Stone's Throw, at least briefly. You've been through Moon Bay. You've even gone far north to Savior's Cradle. Winter's Grip is not as good for performing as some cities are. Not a whole lot of people like to stand outside for excessive amounts of time to listen to people perform in Winter's Grip, and there's not a ton of trade that comes through anymore, so not everyone has a ton of money. But yeah, you did very well today. 23 gold pieces is a quite a take when it comes to Winter's Grip. But as people finish handing you money and congratulating you and saying they loved your song and they thought it was beautiful, they do start to disperse and they start to return to their homes. And as they do, you are left only with the rain, freezing, unpleasant. Days like this when you feel at your most alone, the most disconnected from your homeland and from your family. But on this particular day, a strange sensation washes over you, as if you were being hugged from behind. What do you do?
She's just going to sit there for a little bit and maybe kind of imagine that it's her mom um uh hugging her before she turns around and for the source of this warmth.
Mm-hmm. So, as you're standing there, feeling this, you start to notice another feeling. It's not raining on you anymore. In fact, it's raining around you, but it's not raining on you. And as you turn, it's only then that you realize that there is someone holding an umbrella right above your head. And she looks like this. Where you are? There you are. Go to players. This is the woman that is holding the umbrella as you turn around.
Damn.
She is tall with wavy black hair and crimson flesh. Her eyes are a piercing amber orange, and two horns rise up out of her head before curling back. At first, they're hidden amongst her hair, but as she moves, you can see the horns kind of appear underneath that wavy hair. She looks to be in her late 30s or maybe early 40s and has a very kind smile on her face that makes you feel a kind of comfort that you haven't in many years. She approaches closer, speaking in a soothing tone. Sweet child, lost and alone. Have you no one to care for you?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. But I'm currently trying to go home. I miss my mom and my mama very much so.
She seems to regard that tale with a lot of sadness. You can see the somber look on her face. See, do you know where home is?
And Melody just kind of like thinks on this for a while, and she goes, I don't really know. We don't get to know how to go home unless we're performers.
She looks around. And what are you, if not a performer?
I'm lost.
She looks sad. I see. As you stand there, you start to realize that your clothes have dried. They aren't soaked through anymore. And not just dried, they are clean. And all the damages that have accumulated on them over the years have repaired. The fabrics are sewn shut. Colors long since faded, parts long since threadbare, no longer are. They are as new as the day you bought them, or they were bought for you, whichever the case may be. She smiles at you warmly. Do you know who I am?
And Melody just kind of like tilts her head at that and goes, "No, but I guess you really liked the song, which I'm
She
glad."
she smiles at that. If you like, I will allow you to make a either religion or history check if you are trained in either of them,
Let me check. Or history, you said?
or history.
Nope.
In this
I'm
in, in this world, they're both applicable. Very well then. If you'd like to, you can pick whichever one you like. You can make a history or religion check to see if you know
all
who she
right.
is.
Let's go with a religion check. It's a 20.
Nice. Kaldana, I did not let you do that because there's no reason for you to have known who the red lady was. Very well. A 20?
Mhm.
Okay, well, geez, the DC was 15. Okay, so here's what we will do. I will tell you what you know of this person, based on what you've seen so far, and what most people would know if they saw this person, especially in Winter's Grip. And then for beating it by 5, I will allow you to ask one question of me about this person that can reflect information that you have picked up over time.
Okay.
So, this woman is in all likelihood the matriarch. And the reason you know that is because most people can't make your clothes suddenly dry, and most people don't magically appear out of nowhere. And she's a tiefling. There are no major gods or goddesses in the pantheon that are tieflings, save for the matriarch. She is the only one. That is what I would say you know, just in general.
All right.
What question would you
And
like answered?
um I know that what she's the patroness of, right?
Yeah, you would know. She's the protector of orphans and abandoned children.
Okay. Um do I know of any incidents she would be most likely involved in or like invoked?
Yes. I will say, with your bonus of it, you do know of a couple. The protector of orphans and abandoned children lives very much up to her name. She is famous for granting her boons to those people exactly. But not just that. She is not an all omnibenevolent goddess. She is, in fact, known for being a twin deity. She absolutely has a habit of being cruel, just as much as she does kind. However, she's not cruel to children. She is cruel to those who hurt them. There is a very famous story of a man who raised his hand to beat a child. Whether it was, the story is not clear as to whether it was his child or not. But what is clear is that when he brought his hand down to beat this child, his hand necrotized and fell off. So she is not chill when it comes to being cruel to children.
All right.
That is a story you know for your extra bit. But the woman smiles at you. She seems quite pleased to get to know you. And she nods. I desire nothing more than for you to be able to go home. But sadly, there will soon not be a home to go home to. Great calamity threatens this land. It will cause havoc, chaos, and destruction, and lost life that I have never seen, nor has anyone else. If you, Melody of the Ivory, can find the bravery to stand and fight against it, then I will stand by you.
And Melody just kind of like ponders on this. And for the first time, the smile that's on her face momentarily falters before falling off entirely, and she looks at the matriarch with a serious expression, and she goes in a very quiet voice, "Will this help heal the world?"
The matriarch offers a very large smile. What a wonderful individual whose first concern at being given such a task is to ask if it will help the world. It will.
Then I'll do it. That's the whole point of being a performer.
She kind of chuckles at that. I am so proud of you, little one. If you would avert the coming calamity, then go to Mina's Grove. Seek a champion of the forest, for he will be your guide, though he does not yet know it. And know that no matter where you walk, ever will I be by your side. This my undying promise to you.
That might be a bit difficult. I mean, I'm I'm not an orphan or an abandoned child, but there are some out there, unfortunately.
Then
Oh,
perhaps
and she's going to pull out the pouch of the 23 gold that she got from her performance and hand it to her. But if this helps,
the woman chuckles at that. I will not be able to maintain physical form in this body for long. However, if you wish to use that in service to orphans and abandoned children, I ask that you do so, but it will need to be by your hand, child.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Very good. Then know that I will ever walk with you, even if I cannot be seen. And she disappears. As the vision ends, you find yourself just as you were in the street as the crowd is finishing dispersing. No one seems to have noticed anything. And yet some things have changed. Your clothes are still dry, still mended, repaired, cleaned. And you now have a tattoo on your hand that you can see. It is of a small bear. It looks like a teddy bear almost. And yet it gets up and kind of walks along on its teddy bear feet and moves across your flesh.
Hello. And
The
she's
bear,
gonna wave it.
the bear looks up and waves back at you. It seems quite pleased. The other thing you notice is, despite the fact that the rain has actually picked up pace, you're not getting wet. So when it rains, it doesn't fall in one flat sheet. It's just raindrops, and you happen to get hit by a bunch of them. Every raindrop seems to miss you, as if by fate, no matter where you walk.
Ooh. Can I try and jump in a puddle?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You,
jump in a puddle.
you are perfectly capable of jumping in the puddle, and the puddle splashes, as it always does, and that water does get on you. However, the rain itself does not. It is as if someone is holding an umbrella above your head at all times.
Thank you.
And so you depart from Mina's Grove.
And before she walks, she's gonna look at the teddy bear on her arm, and she's gonna go, I'm gonna name you Fluffles. You're Fluffles. Hi, Fluffles.
The bear seems to think about this for a moment before just giving a nod and continuing on his little march as if he's patrolling across your body.
Good Fluffles.
We now move to Realta. We journey now to Mount Ravensflight, the largest mountain in the Kartok mountain range, sitting near the central north point of it. Mount Ravensflight is massive, and it marks some of the highest points on Terrasen. In fact, it is definitely the highest point on Terrasen. There is no mountain that comes anywhere close to Mount Ravensflight. It's probably twice as large as the next largest mountain on the continent. So, stuff for you. Realta. Your story begins at the Heaven's Reach Observatory near the summit of Mount Ravensflight. Been 6 weeks now. No, sorry, 4 weeks have passed since the disappearance of your brother. You have been waiting very patiently for a month to pass. I say very patiently. You've thought you're very patient. Everyone else seems very annoyed with you. However, it has been about a month since his disappearance, and what you have been waiting for is for that month to pass so that the moon would be in the sky where it was 1 month ago when your brother made his discovery. You have been attempting to locate the prophecy in the stars that he found, and so far you have had no luck. In fact, some people believe you have been getting a little obsessed with looking for it. But you believe now that you've gotten very close to the same time of month, and even though the stars will have moved because it's further in the year, you believe that you have appropriately accounted for that, and that you should be able to find the prophecy. To that end, your mother Celeste has asked for you to go to the telescope at the observatory proper in Heaven's Reach.
You want me to describe myself?
You may describe yourself.
So Realta is a dwarf, so she is an average height of 4'8".
Yes.
How
How does that make you feel?
Wonderful, actually. The greatest moment of my life.
Mm-hmm.
She has very thick black hair that is so black it almost looks blue, with palish skin and sky blue eyes. She is wearing kind of the traditional robes that those observatory wear, but one sleeve of it is perpetually always off her shoulder, no matter what she's doing.
Mhm.
And her hair is kind of braided in such a way so that she could hurriedly put it out of her face so that she didn't have to worry about trying to maintain it. Always has something else to be doing.
Got it. So you make your way up towards the observatory proper. Standing outside the observatory is your mother. Would you care to give us a description of her?
So Celeste is around the same height as Realta. She has closer to brown eyes, but with like kind of a tinge of a gold yellowish color. And her hair is pretty much whitened and silvered with age, and very different from Rialta's kind of more disheveled appearance. She is wearing kind of the stole of the mark of her Department of Education, and her hair is in a perfectly formed bun at the top of her head that is almost as big as her own head because of how thick the hair is.
As you approach, Celeste puts a hand on her hip. Well, I see the promise of using the telescope was something that could finally get you here on time.
Well, you did say that I could finally look at it, and I'm waiting for the information. I see no reason to delay.
Yes, I spent not an inconsiderate amount of my influence to buy you some private time with the telescope this evening.
That is quite generous of you, Mother. Thank you.
Before you go in,
Yes.
Theron leaving was hard for all of us.
Yes.
And I know that you hope that you will find this prophecy, this whatever he saw in the stars to help it make sense for you why he left. But I need you to understand that if this telescope cannot see it, there is a chance he is grieving. He is looking for answers where he may not find them. You may need to accept that, daughter.
I understand that, but at the same time, if he is grieving, then we must do what we have said before, and he must be encircled. We must support him in his
Well.
time of grief. And if this is my way to find that, then so shall be it.
As I said, I believe you. If you say it is there, then you have never shown me any reason why it should not be. But I just ask that if it is not, then we may need to take other steps to try to find Saren and bring him home before he gets himself hurt.
Her lips kind of turn into a thin line, and she merely nods. I'll find it.
Well, and with that, she unlocks the door and holds it open for you. You have use of it for the next couple hours. I wish you the best.
She bows her head. Thank you. Hurriedly, without delay, goes right on in.
Inside is the Heaven's Reach Observatory proper, what the city is named after. It is the largest telescope in the Kartok Mountains, and also probably the only telescope in the Kartok Mountains. This is not a technology that is particularly common. It is one that your people have invented over the last few hundred years in an attempt to further help you divine the will of the prime goddess in the skies. It is in use more often than not, especially overnight. However, your mother, in her position, has managed to secure you some time to use it to your own devices. This is something that does not happen particularly often, and you are aware that she no doubt had to trade a great favor of some sort probably to do this. So, but you go in, and would you like to attempt to divine the will of the stars in the sky?
I will.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
Oh, man. Investigation. Here we go. Good as my perception, I swear. Investigation. Nope, I only get a +1. Couldn't take it as a skill. That's a 7.
7. Okay. So, you spend hours looking at the sky, going over his notes. You read the words that he wrote time and time again. When the twins clash at Red Rock's crest, then shall the moon rise in the west. And you look around the moon specifically, trying to find something that must indicate how he got to that sentence, how he got to that phrase. And there's nothing. It's just like when you look with your personal telescope. It's just like when you look by eyesight. You see stars and they're around the moon, but you don't see whatever it is that he saw there. Or you might, but nothing that you can objectively say is that. You are aware that what you see may very well be you seeing what you want to see there.
Need to think like Saren. What would he see here?
Go ahead and make another investigation check.
Hey, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You look, again, now trying to get into the mindset of what Saren must be feeling. Grief, pain, desperation. And in that aspect, it's a stretch. But there are pictures that you can see in the sky, perhaps of her will, perhaps of a story of the past, something that has already happened in her great tapestry. But again, there's a nagging feeling in your mind that you're seeing what you want to see because it means your brother's not crazy. It means Saren is not. He's fine. And the objective part of you is telling you that you're reaching and that it's not there.
Did you go?
Hours pass. And you look. And you look. You look. But there is nothing. Nothing that you can see that is definitive. Nothing that would pass muster in any of your classes. If one of your students brought you it, you would laugh at them and tell them no.
They are children.
They are children. So you would laugh at them twice as hard.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And as you leave the observatory, you open the door and the cold wind of the mountain hits your face. There is a woman waiting for you. She is short, even shorter than you are, and her hair is brilliant silver, the color of starlight in the skies. Her eyes are deep black pools with brilliant full moons in the center. She wears a long cloak in midnight blue and carries with her a lantern that illuminates her almost ghostly features. And she looks at you. Greetings.
Greetings. Do you have clearance to come in here?
She smiles. The domain of the stars and moon are ever mine to wander as I choose.
He looks taken aback. Your domain.
Mm.
Speak as for the goddess herself. Only the goddesses has the here.
She smiles. I am goddess of the moon and stars. I am Selena. Know you me?
Do I?
Make a religion or history check.
Will do. Religion or history are the same for me.
All right.
A little bit history when religion and history are the same thing. I get
Yeah.
terrified. I don't know what that means.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
That's a waste of a natural 20.
Maybe not. What is that?
23.
23. So again, I will allow you a question asked in addition to the basic knowledge that you know.
Mm-hmm.
Selena, goddess of the moon and stars, is not a particularly old deity by comparison's sake. She's probably only not even 100 years old at this point. It is known that she was once a halfling, and that she formed a group called the Halflings Watch, who would patrol the God's Grass Forest and search for those who had gone missing within it. It is said that their lanterns in the forest were light akin to the star and moon in the dead of night. She has domain over, as she says, the moon and stars, and that is what you know of her in general. What question would you like answered of Selena, goddess of the moon and stars?
What is kind of her tenets as far as that you can ordain the will from the stars and heavens?
Interesting. Selena believes, indeed, that there can be much told of the stars, but that what is seen in the stars are maps of what has already happened, and not often things that are to come. That said, there are some stories of her divining prophecies from the stars, not unlike what you do.
I have so you
Oh, let me grant the picture of her too.
oh yeah.
You all can see what she looks like.
There we go.
Oh.
Is she pretty? She's gonna kinda give her a quizzical look. So you say that you are Selena,
Yes.
that of the moon and stars of the prime goddess.
Yes. That is me. I, for the last 70 years, have served as the goddess of the moon and stars, though not the first and certainly not the last. Your brother gazed upon the moon and stars and saw something that changed him.
You know of this?
Indeed, he saw a prophecy, but ultimately, well, he must have had great skill to be able to see it, decipher it. But ultimately, grief and desire have clouded out logic and reason for him. His interpretation of that prophecy, while perhaps technically correct, will not bring about the fate he desires, but instead will bring about calamity upon the world.
And so I feared.
Indeed. For if I were to say I am coming to take your head, and then instead stole a head of lettuce from you, would I have lied?
No.
But I would be inaccurate nonetheless. So it is with him. He has misunderstood what he has seen.
Well, as such as that I fear that myself. I know not where he has gone.
Indeed. It will be important that you do find him before he is allowed to bring untold havoc upon this world. We must first see what he saw. And as she reaches her hand aloft, the moon and stars begin to move before your eyes as if going back in time. The moon begins to fall in the west and rise in the east. Rise in the west and fall in the east. Rapidly. Nothing else around you changes, but the sky does. You can watch as it resets, and sure enough, soon you stare at the night sky that he saw 1 month prior, exactly as it was then. You look up. You still have difficulty seeing what it is that he could have seen, until she begins to point. And one by one, the stars begin to glow brighter, the ones she needs to anyway. And there it is, plain as daylight. The picture that he looked upon and divined the prophecy from. Goddess smiles at you. Do you see it now?
Yes, and it is just as unclear on its context as what he wrote down.
There is a second piece to that prophecy that I offer you now. If thou wouldst avert suffering and violence, seekest thou the whispers in silence.
I must figure out what this whispers and silence is.
She smiles, as if appreciating your answer. That is a good start.
Very well. So, whispers and silence, that is at least a lead I did not have before. And then she kind of looks at her warily. Why are you helping me?
She kind of gives an interested look at that. Because a long time ago I was done a great favor, and that favor has been called in.
A favor?
I have been asked to aid you, and so I shall. If you would prevent catastrophe on a scale unheard of, go to Mina's Grove. Seek out one whose past is clouded even from themselves. She will be your guide, though she does not yet know it.
He kind of rubs her. Wait, could you repeat that one more time? Sorry, I need to find someone who's.
Yes, seek out one whose past is clouded even
Clouded,
from
thank you.
themselves.
Thank you. My brain did not completely register. I apologize.
Mhm.
She's gonna stroke her chin as she takes this in. Someone called in a favor for you. Only the Prime Goddess would have such dominion over that. Very well. I shall take that information and take your next clue then. To Mina's Grove then.
Best of luck to you, Realta Folknir. And she vanishes. As you exit your vision, you're not outside anymore. You are back home in your bed.
Did she do that?
It is as if you have just awoken from a dream. However, one thing has changed. There is a tattoo on your body of a raven constellation. The constellation, attached with bright blue and white stars, flies across your body. It occasionally will connect the two lines between two of your freckles and will perch on that.
That was definitely not there before.
Yes. You are correct.
She will kind of rub at the skin and watch it fly away.
Yeah, as soon as your hand comes near, it tries to peck at your hand, but it can't because it's it's outside your body, and then it just flies away.
It did. What if
Yeah.
it did peck at your hand? What would you do?
I don't know. Lose it.
What a mind fuck.
These prophets of the goddess have strange powers,
Yeah, and they tattoo you when you fall asleep.
apparently. Okay, what was that she said? Let me write that down real quick. Find someone whose past is clouded in Meaner Grove. Mother, I need to go on a trip.
And that very day, you leave the Heaven's Reach Observatory, setting out for Meaner's Grove. Brux.
Ayo.
Some people love the routine of village living. In so many ways, every day is the same as the last. But because so much stays the same, you can really take notice of the things that are different. For you, Brux, today has been a very, very normal day in the village of Horizons Coast. Let me get back over to my map here so that I can go over where you're at. You are up here. You woke up, you ate breakfast, you attended your Arcana lessons, and after lunch, you took your watch on the small wooden walls of the village. Normally, watches here are exceedingly boring. You stand atop the walls and watch for anything suspicious, which there hardly ever is anything. You occasionally question a traveler seeking entry into the town. In fact, you get more action breaking up fights in the local pub than you do actually guarding the city. Not many people are traveling down to Bleakman's Burrow these days. But today, as you gaze over the walls and out across the verdant fields of the area, you do see something unusual. About 600 feet across the field, amid the grove of trees to the south, you see a woman standing there. It's difficult to make out details from this distance, but you can see a mane of black hair, though it doesn't seem like it's particularly long. And you know intrinsically that she is looking directly at you. You are making eye contact as you look at her from so far away. You don't know how you know that, but you do know. You do.
Well, on duty right now, so for at least the immediate short term, just going to observe.
Yep.
Probably hand on.
Did you just say duty in front of the whole class?
God damn it.
Nice. Nice.
And
Wow.
so you do. You've got about an hour left in your watch, and for that entire hour, she stands motionless, just staring, meeting your eyes every time you look at her.
Technically doing nothing wrong.
Correct? They're doing nothing wrong.
After a while, yeah, would just pretty much try and ignore it, but definitely gonna check it out afterward.
So your shift eventually does come to an end. You ask the guard who comes to relieve you, like, hey, watch out for the creepy lady standing out there by the edge of the woods. And the guard,
check that out.
yeah, the guard says, go check out what?
Turn, she's still there, right?
There is.
Bad sign.
I thought I saw something.
All right, well, if you want to go check it out, you can. I'll watch here.
Just sort of head on my way. Very and she's just standing there the entire time I approach, isn't
Yep.
she?
She watches you as you approach.
Right out in the open. Okay.
As you get closer to her, you start to see she's not particularly tall. She's probably only about 4.5 feet. She has. You get close and you see that she has some vaguely arachnid-like features, including a mane of silky black hair and slitted eyes that are constantly moving back and forth as if she was always reading some unseen tome. And here is our picture of the goddess Talia. Ta-da! All right. So, as you approach, you arrive at the edge of the grove. This is the forest, the forest, a section of the God's Grass forest on the northwest side of the Devil Blight Swamp that has stretched across the Bleakman River. This is as far north as that forest goes, and she is standing right at the edge of it. And as you approach, something strange starts to happen. You can see thread, like a spider's web, all around you. It wasn't there a moment ago, and it doesn't seem to touch you. Like you don't feel it, but you can see it. And as you get close to her, you can see now the threads that are connecting to you as if they were always there, but you do not feel them.
And can I just say that when you described this goddess, I got much more of a spidery vibe versus every dominatrix wet dream I had as a 16-year-old vibe,
Okay.
which is what the picture is showing me.
Well,
So it's
unfortunately,
just,
Art Breeder can only do so much for me.
I mean, it's fine. I was like, whoa, scary. And then I was like, whoa, flashbacks. So it was a little
Okay.
bit different.
Well, the good news is she's not your goddess.
Is that good news?
I don't know.
I
We'll see if
don't
you like her
know.
or not.
Seems questionable.
I don't know.
So, you approach her and you see these threads connecting you.
Yeah, doing this sort of exploratory, grab.
Yeah, so you try to grab at them, and nothing seems to happen. Sometimes, you grab them, and you are able to grab them. You take hold of them; they seem to collapse in your fingers. You can't pull them out. You don't feel anything when you do. And as you let go, they just go right back to where they were. It's not impeding you in any way. The woman looks at you with a smile, a spider's smile, but you sense no malice in it. While spiders are often seen as villainous by people, they are also the weavers of fate. She nods and looks you over. They are the threads of fate. An interesting thread that brought you here. I saw many different outcomes for you on the wall. I did not know if you would come after me immediately or have your men fire upon me. But instead, this is the path you have chosen to get here. Interesting.
What? Excuse me?
She gives you an almost apologetic look. Uh, Around her now, you can see that these threads of fate, this web is intricate and intertangled and a mess, and you can't even imagine how someone would ever make sense of it all. But she smiles. Apologies. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Talia, goddess of fate and destiny. And you are Brux Adelborn.
Okay.
Would you like to make a either history or religion check?
Sure.
You may.
Pretty sure it's the same either way. Yes, it is. That's a 6 total.
I will tell you the basics of what you would know about Talia. Talia is the goddess of fate and destiny. She is particularly revered among the Path of the Stars dwarves because rumor is that she was one of them at one time, which would certainly explain her height as you see her now. Almost everyone at some point in their life has entreated the favor of Talia. In fact, Talia watch over me is a common turn of phrase when one is preparing to do something particularly taxing or dangerous. So that is what you know is the generals of Talia, goddess of fate and destiny.
You seem to know so much about me.
I know everything about you. Past, present, future, all possible outcomes, and things that could have been. As she approaches you, she seems to examine the threads coming from you. She looks over them as if she is able to read them as plain as text. And she frowns at what she sees. With a somewhat distasteful look, you see her reach out and swat some of them away, and those threads snap and break and leave your flesh, and they're gone. And then you watch as she reaches up into the ether, into that massive sea of threads all around you, and plucks down a couple, 3, 4, 5, and brings them down and attaches them to you where the other ones once were. At that, she looks you in the eyes. It was not your fate to protect this world from the coming calamity. Your fate was mundane, useless, boring. She looks particularly offended by the last word. I have changed it, given you options where once there were none. Do you accept?
Options.
Yes. Look all around you. Every thread a possibility, a choice, a decision that you might be able to make. She shows you, and indeed, you can see thousands of these threads of fate coming out of you.
Never was much one simply accepting things.
She smiles at that. Indeed, yours was a destiny given to you by boring old women who know not what this world needs, and you spat in the face of it. I very much like you.
What would you say I should do?
She smiles brightly at that and takes one of the threads in her hand, and it glows, an almost brilliant golden light emitting from it, shimmering off of it. If you would follow this thread of fate, then journey to Mina's grove. Look for one who seeks what you threw away. She will be your guide, though she does not yet know it.
Sorry, notes.
No, you're fine. Absolutely, write it down.
Mina's Grove. That's nothing I would have heard of.
I mean, you would know of Mina's Grove. It's a city far to the south near the Kartok Mountains.
Okay.
You think it's pretty famous for hard silver, but you're not quite certain.
Okay. Well, I suppose there's nothing else better to do.
Not, you have no idea how right you are. And as you look down, you see some of the threads of fate that were on your body detach and go away as you have chosen otherwise. You have chosen to leave a path behind and take on a new one, and she smiles at you. Always know that no one can decide your fate, Brux Otterborn. Not even me. You are ever the master of your own destiny. She smiles.
It's comforting, and I've always thought.
As she disappears and vanishes, the threads all seem to dissipate as well, and you're left standing there at the edge of the forest. Although you notice something different about yourself. There is now a tattoo on you of a spider skittering across your flesh. And as it traces, I'm sorry, I never let you describe yourself. Brux, please describe yourself to the party.
Okay. Here, she is a little over 6.5 feet tall. Got your traditional orc, greenish skin, little proto tusks. Very heavily muscled. And has a number of piercings in both her eyebrows and ears, each one of which is a different metal.
And it is not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's basically about it. I mean, outfit, guard outfit and everything.
And like many Uruk, you are tattooed heavily.
Yep.
However, the spider seems to be interested in that as it skitters across your body. It occasionally finds a spot on your tattoos and begins to pull the ink out of them. And you watch as the tattoo is literally pulled apart as the spider makes it into its web and begins to coat your body in its web, just a little bit at a time. Right now, it's just a simple letter that has been ripped apart and made into a web. But the spider seems quite pleased with itself as it moves along.
That's interesting.
And so that day, you set out from Mina's Grove after setting aside your commission for now to journey towards the city of Minas Grove, a higher calling given to you. Yeah, pack what you have and head on your way. Which takes us to Sir Varis. What? In the God's Grass Forest. Actually, not particularly far from where Brux is. Deep in the God's Grass Forest, a lone knight journeys to the northeast. Sir Varis, these are woods you've grown up in and ones you know well. And in fact, a mere 30 minutes ago, you were certain that you were near the northeast end of the forest, a scant 4 days' journey remaining to reach Moon Bay. Yet, as you look around, the forest seems to be getting deeper and darker. It should not be doing that. It should be getting lighter and thinner at this point. But it is not. It is as though at some point maybe you got turned around, though you're certain that you didn't. As you look around, you notice that the trees here are massive, much larger than any other part of the forest you can recall. And what's more, they're covered in flowers, seeming to grow right out of the bark. These are like massive redwood trees with flowers just literally blooming out of the bark. What will you do?
Well, there's no way I got lost. So
I
somebody
agree. That seems unlikely.
so somebody must have moved the forest. And I
Right.
don't know who this villain is, but he must have considerable strength and power if he moved every single one of these trees without me noticing.
He would have to be quite strong.
However, it is also possible that I could attempt to reorient myself. Is there a roll I could make to either reorient myself through looking at the sky or looking at the way that these
Look at the moss growing on the trees.
yeah, exactly. Like where the moss growing on the trees, or
Right.
if there's a way
Any of
these
your
flowers
tricks.
bloom.
Yes.
Yeah, any of that shit.
I'll allow you to make a nature check with advantage.
A nature check with advantage. Brilliant. This is the kind of check I enjoy, an advantageous one.
Yes.
I prefer it from a non-advent. All right, let me see if I can see how to make this thing work. Yeah. What's up?
LBR Juxta with the gift sub. Thank you so much. Juxta, who's that inspo going to? DM needs some inspo. Well, that's true. The DM does need some inspo.
I don't know about all that, but
I feel like the DM needs some inspo.
I rolled a 14 with a total of 22, which I would like to note in the app is green.
Oh,
Which
Yes.
I think means it's good.
Green means nat 20.
yeah.
But why does it say 14 then?
But you rolled with advantage.
The 14.
Hold on. I gotta help Robbie fix something, but keep going.
Great.
What?
Sounds good.
Oh, yeah. So those two numbers, the first you rolled with advantage. So the first number is you rolled a 12 plus 2. The second number is you rolled a 20 plus 2.
I got 22.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, yes, with a 22, you look around and you actually cannot figure out how to reorient yourself because something is very wrong. You're pretty sure the sun is in 3 places right now. You can see the sun rising currently in the west behind you, and it's also setting in the northeast, and it's also setting in the southeast. And you're pretty sure you've been here for a minute anyway, and you admit that you are still young to your order,
Yeah.
and there are many things that you still need to learn. Even you know that.
That's true, but I don't remember
One thing you are
the
certain of.
sun thing, yeah.
One thing you are quite certain of is that there is only normally one sun.
Okay.
And so as you wander, the forest continues to get more and more fantastical. The flowers are getting larger until they are blooming out of the ground and are big enough you could sit on them. They have incredible colors of lavenders, purples, pinks, deep blues, greens, yellows, all colors of the rainbow are showing up now in these colors. You start thinking, some of this might be poisonous. Bright colors is usually not a good thing in the forest. Usually that means stay away. But you continue to walk, and the world just continues to get a little bit weirder as you go along, and something is following you. You don't know how you know, but you're pretty certain.
as that's on its way, I'm gonna check my pack and see if I ate anything funny. Like, did I have any rations
Right.
that could
So
potentially have?
So you look in your pack, and
Yeah,
you've got your rations in there, and they're
yeah,
the standard fare for
right.
a night of your order. There's acorns.
Yeah,
There's some berries. You're pretty sure yeah,
elderberries
y-
specifically.
you're pretty sure you didn't pick any berries that were wrong.
Mm.
There's some mushrooms. Again, you're pretty sure they're all fine to eat. You've been eating them for a long time. You don't see why it should be
Shiitake.
any different. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they're very some baby bellas and some shiitake. You're thinking you're gonna
yeah,
get a nice steak later on.
yeah. Exactly. Okay.
So as you pass by another of these massive trees, you spot a girl sitting next to a flowing river. She is a small girl, barely 5 feet tall. She has beautiful brown hair with flowers of all different sorts. Although they are all flowers of spring, they are all in season, growing in it. Her eyes are blue like the river, and she has a number of butterflies floating around her head. However, the most noticeable feature of her is that, well, she isn't wearing anything save for a crown of flowers around her head. The rest of her is just an olive-skinned green, and
Nude forest witch happens.
it
Happens. I've heard
happens.
they're like
Let
nude
me
forest witch. It can happen.
let me get a picture up of
It is known to happen. Nude forest witches. Got to be careful
yes.
around them. They
Uh, as she spots you, you see her roll her head back and call out, "Sister, he's here." Uh, and you suddenly hear a rustling, and another woman emerges from the brush behind you. You recognize immediately that this must be what was following you earlier. This woman is quite different, well over 6 feet tall, and her muscles are toned and cut. She has a long, shaggy mane of silver hair, and her eyes are yellow like a wolf's. As she gives you a bawdy smile, you can see her sharp teeth and fangs. And as your eyes trace down to her hands, you can see her claws. Protruding from either side of her head are two massive antlers, each of them coming to 6 points. Like her sister, she wears nothing, though it doesn't seem to bother her any. She grunts, the Green Knight.
Sir Varis will look to the two of them, taking this in. Butterflies, horns. I don't need to make a roll. I know what this is.
Would
Varis
you
has a great deal of experience with this kind of thing.
would you care to make a religion check with disadvantage?
I will. I will.
Yeah, go ahead.
Based purely on the fact that Varys is very confident he already knows.
Yes.
I will turn to my little fairy dragon nature spirit and I'll say, Hemlock, I don't know if we're in the God's Grace Wood anymore.
Would you first of all care to describe your character and your Nodweir companion?
Certainly. Sir Varys is a man of certainty, of confidence, and most importantly, of raw sexual energy.
What's
You
he
can't
look
see
like?
any of that because he's always fully clad and wearing a helmet, but
Yeah.
it's there if you
Yeah,
were to
I'll
look
bet he
for
is
it.
fully clad.
Yeah, he's fully clad. Sir Varys is just under 6 feet tall, so he is ignored by most dating apps. Um, he uh, he is an elf, a nature elf, a dia dia nanadweir, dia anadweir, dia
Yeah, on
dos.
Nodweir. Yep, you got
Yeah,
it.
I'm a dia von Bismarck Nadweir,
Yeah.
one of the nature elves. What this means is that Sir Varric is a knight, and you know this because one, he'll tell you, and two, based on the way that he dresses. He wears a simple hauberk of chainmail over which he has a cotton tabard made of simple green dyed cloth, a deep, earthy, foresty green, that is held by a hide leather belt that seems to have been hand sewn or hand assembled. The buckle is the metal piece of it. Heavy, uh, gloves and nice heavy leather boots. In addition, at the moment, he's not wearing his helmet. He has a hook that he can either put catches or like game catches or anything else, a metal hook that hangs off his belt. But in this case, he's hanging his helmet off it, which is a mostly full helm. It doesn't have a face plate on it, but it covers all the back of his neck and the front. And the laurels on it are a number of oak leaves that he's had trussed up and done in there. He probably needs to replace the oak leaves. They go bad very quick, but it's a good look
Convenient.
still. Yeah,
Very attractive.
yeah, it's good look.
These
he
women
car-
are clearly both very impressed.
Yes, he carries a sword of simple but good make, and a shield, a kite shield, almost as tall as he is. Um, that the gear, the gi that it that he the strap that holds it sits over his right shoulder so that it hangs and he can easily grab it and hold it up. It is painted simple green with no other iconography currently on it. Though if one were to look closely at the moment, they would see the paint is relatively fresh, as if he had recently painted over something. Probably his phone number or some shit.
Yeah.
Um, he he himself is a rather plain-looking elf. He has a handsome enough face you wouldn't puke on it if you saw it. Um, the somewhat narrow face of an elf, as well as the somewhat darker tannish skin, um, brown eyes, and dun hair. The hair is relatively straight, and he keeps it in, I'd say, shoulder length. At the moment, it's tied up in a ponytail with some simple gut. The leather, you take
Yeah.
animal gut and treat it, and it's done up. So he's wearing dead animal products in his hair, which is another excellent way to attract these two wood nymphs, I assume. Um,
All right. You may
yeah,
make your religion check with disadvantage to see if you know who these people are.
absolutely. Oh, I didn't. The fairy dragon.
Oh yeah,
I don't.
sorry.
Can
Hemlock.
other people see the spirit?
Yes. In certain circumstances, if it is
Okay.
literally flying with you or is next to you,
Yeah.
yes. If it is something like if you have a water spirit, sometimes they will conceal themselves in water.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That makes sense. Well, if one were to know anything about the Dianaduir, you would know that when they're 24 years old, they have to select and bond with a nature spirit. And Sir Varic's order takes this very seriously. He has bonded with what appears to be a small fairy-like dragon. It has uh, dark bluish skin. Um, it has wings, sort of like a moth, looking somewhat like a lunar moth, large whitish moth wings with the scary looking eye, fake eyes on the back of it. And it is sort of it's got like tiny vines that sort of just hang off it at all times. These happen to be hemlock berries. Hemlock, the venomous plant, and that is its name, hemlock. It is a nature spirit of said plant or of plants and animals in general. That
Hemlock
hangs out with him.
Hemlock flaps its wings as these two goddesses appear before you. Go ahead and make a religion check at disadvantage.
Brilliant. My favorite kind of check, one with disadvantage. That may sound different from what I said before, but
A little bit.
I am complicated and multifaceted.
You're very deep,
Uh,
Rob.
yes, thank you. You said religion?
Yes. Or history,
Brilliant.
whichever you prefer.
Well, I am. You'll see that I am trained in both, and that scares me either way. And I have rolled. Um, my total is 3.
All right.
Total is 3. I got a 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to. I understand that you're here to control everything, but I just want to remind you that I have unbridled confidence,
Yes, it is.
regardless of what you tell me.
It is. So that is a nat 1, which goes to a 3.
Yes.
So, yes, you do know exactly who these two are. You are 100% certain of whom you are speaking to. And as you announce this, Hemlock starts flapping his wings even quicker, very excited that you are so knowledgeable. As you proudly proclaim this to be Father Oak and Mother Ash,
Perfect.
Hemlock
Exactly. I knew it.
Hemlock looks down and then scrambles down into your pack as if they don't want to be part of this conversation anymore.
That's understandable. He would probably be cowed by the divine presence of the great Father Oak and Mother Ash, who are clearly before me. It is interesting that Father Oak appears to be a woman, but I do not wish to believe that Father Oak could be contained by such gender normative beliefs.
Ara,
He is a
ara.
Oh,
being
snap.
Guess what,
that is
everyone?
multifaceted.
Robbie just dropped $25 to get a Mal Ara Ara in the chat, first of all. And Robbie, who are those 5 gift subs going to? Or 5 gift subs. Who are those 5 inspos going to?
Oh.
5 inspo to Robbie Fat Stacks.
I'll
Robbie,
take
you have
it.
5 inspo to
I'll
spend.
take it.
All right.
I will write it down.
Excellent.
Thank you
Well,
very
thank you
much,
very
Mr.
much.
Landis.
That's bullshit. I sang and I got 4 inspo. He just exists and gets 5. All right.
Just
This
be
is what
happy
it's-
y'all got it, Spo.
This is what it's like to be Sir Varis. He
Yeah.
walks into a room and things just go his way.
You know
Yeah.
what?
You can't-
That's a good point. He's the pinnacle of male performance.
That's absolutely it. He is the whitest male in the room. He showed up and he was successful.
Wow.
Oh,
Amen.
jeez.
Amen.
Jesus.
All right,
Oh.
go put your oh gross woke comments in the chat now. Go for it.
Oh.
I'm ready.
Oh, good.
Not my channel.
Yeah, I've noticed. So as you proclaim these 2 women to proudly be Father Oak and Mother Ash, they give a somewhat curious look to one another, as if trying to confirm with one another that they had heard that correctly, or maybe they're trying to confirm who exactly that is. Before Flora, the smaller of the 2, speaks up and says, "Well, that is not a name we have heard in quite some time." And the larger of the 2 nods. "Indeed. Many, many years has it been since I have heard those names."
I will get down on one knee and lay my shield down, and I will draw my sword and place it in front of me, and bow my head, and I will say, "Verily, we remember the old names, in the ancient and honorable order, in the most honorable and ancient order, and I would not forget the face or bosoms of Father Oak."
The larger of the 2 glances down at the other. "Sister, are you certain we should not choose elsewise?" And the smaller of the 2 looks up and smiles. "I like him. I think he'll do well." And she kind of shakes her head and says, "Well, far be it for me to question you. I have learned time and again that is not wise, my older sister." And the much smaller girl smiles and says, "Your order is an ancient one indeed, Sir Knight. It is a order dedicated to nature. And one of the most fundamental forces of nature is that all things live and that all things must die, that new life may come to be."
I yell out, "Verily," because she's basically preaching.
Yeah. "Your order is no different." And then the larger of the 2 kind of smirks. "Your order was founded on the greatness of those long dead. Their names and deeds are forgotten. And if it is to be reborn, new deeds and acts of heroism must be the fire that forges it." The smaller speaks again. "Calamity approaches, and it will mark the end of all things should it come to pass. As protector of the god's grasped forest, we charge you to stand and bear shield against this coming catastrophe."
I will raise my head, and I will say, "My order has shrunk greatly, and it wounds me to know that you recognize how few remember the hallowed names of my forefathers and foremothers. But know this, I will carry them with me and regrow this order as you command, while I will bring your name from top to bottom of this great land and ensure that once again everyone knows the name Oak and Ash as I conquer this great destiny, which I have been well equipped for since the day of my birth.
Larger of the two gives another look to the smaller. She just smiles and nods. Fauna nods in return. Then go to Mina's grove. Seek out a bird among the stars. She will be your guide, though
Does
she
this
does not
Mina
yet know.
require rescue? My
I-
God.
No, the city, Mina's grove. It is a
A
place.
A city I must rescue. Verily, I shall go and rescue this Mina's city. And would you like me to bring Mina back to you?
So, as you say that, the two of them have very different looks on their faces. The smaller has a huge grin across her face as if she has just pulled off the greatest prank in history on her sister. The other looks like she smelled a fart. She is not happy, but she just closes
Was she
her
the one
eyes.
that was she the one that was walking behind me?
She is.
She might have, because Varys thought he was alone.
Damn it.
No.
Oh.
He didn't know there were ladies about, so he thought he was in the forest by himself. He might have ripped some ass. He'll apologize if he doesn't, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Fauna nods. Damn. Woo! All right, and Fauna nods. You need not bring anyone back, for the accomplishments that you do while you are on the road will be proof enough of the worth of your order. You will need not return to this place, though when you do, you will be heralded, if you succeed.
Then I shall succeed. There can be no doubt. I will pick up my sword and sheath it, and heft my shield over my shoulder, and stand, and bow.
And you bow, and you turn, and as you leave, the larger of the two leans down to the smaller and says, there can be some doubt. And your vision ends. And as you return, you notice two things. First is that you are indeed now at the edge of the forest, but not the northeast end of the forest. You are at the southwest end of the forest, nearest
planned.
Mina's Grove. Nearest Mina's Grove.
As intended.
Secondly, you have a tattoo. It is
Now
of
hold on. The order has rules about that. When did I get a tattoo?
You now have a tattoo of a wolf wearing a floral collar running across your body. It seems to enjoy falling asleep on your shoulder blades, and it is very lazy.
I mean, that is pretty badass. I will look. I will say, though it is against the order to stay in the body of the temple of the body,
You're gonna love Brux.
then if it is a gift from Father Oak and Mother Ash, or Mother Oak and Mother Ash, we're open-minded, however it is, then I shall move forward. Come with me, young pup. Together, we shall be heroes.
The wolf is laying down and doesn't lift its head, but its tail starts thwomping up and down. It seems pleased enough with what you said.
And I will
But-
march forward.
And you do.
And I would like to note that I have not been outside of the forest in a very, very long time. I do not know what Mina's Grove is. Well, I may have heard of the name Mina's Grove, but I definitely do not know where it is. But
Yeah.
I do not consider that a problem.
Well, the good news is, as you journey out of the forest, you come to the two-day bridge, and the guards there are fortunately able to point you in the direction of Mina's Grove, which you are on
Hail
the right road
verily,
for.
guardsmen.
Yeah.
I shall cross this bridge so quickly they shall call it the one-day bridge. If you would like to
One
watch
of the guards looks at you and is like, it's not a particularly long bridge. It's called that because it was built in 2 days. But okay.
Well, I do not have time to take apart this bridge and rebuild it, so unfortunately, today you will not see the master hands of a carpenter. Instead, you will see a knight on his quest. You are welcome.
Oh boy. And that is where our prologue mercifully ends. That is the conclusion of the prologue, and we will now actually jump. It's only 9:40, so we will jump straight into chapter 1, Long Road Ahead. Yes, we changed this. Actually, and while we're at that, I'm going to see, can you all hear the music that I'm about to play? As we all arrive in the city of Mina's Grove. Let's see if this music can work.
I can't.
Oh, sorry. I actually have to move y'all over. Hey, do you all see Mina's Grove?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. It took a second to load.
I must zoom out so I may. How do I scroll it down? I got it. Ha ha ha!
I'm going to see. Let me know if y'all can hear this music.
I do.
Hey,
I
there
do.
it goes.
Big shout out to Lobo Loco, who has provided the music for this. Their music is available royalty free at the link in the upper right corner of the stream right now.
Hail verily, Lobo Loco.
Indeed. All right, so let's dive into chapter 1. Chapter 1, Long Road Ahead. Over the next month, all of you find your way to Mina's Grove. Each of you bears instruction to seek out another, and for those of you who have already arrived, you have yet to find the person your deity spoke of. The city of Mina's Grove sits at the northeast end of the grove of pine trees it is named for. It's a walled city of medium size in a roughly rectangular shape and with the Undal River flowing through the center of it from south to north. To the north of the city sits the frigid Lake Undal, which the river empties into. The wealth divide in Mina's Grove is quite literal, as only the wealthy can afford to live on one of the lanes to the east of the river. The richest and most well-off live on the Gold Lane, followed by the Silver Lane, the Bronze Lane, and the Copper Lane in the northeast corner of the city. On the west side of the river sits Mina's Arms, a military district, and to the north of that, the massive Widow's Revenge Inn. Across the street is the Myriad Markets, and further on towards the west are vast swaths of housing for the city's poor and Lockheed's Haven, almost a city within a city, but where only tieflings are typically found. The city is bustling, and Brux, you have just arrived in the city of Mina's Grove, the last to make your way there, as you had by far the furthest to journey. The city is bustling and seems almost overcrowded. It's as if there are too many people here for streets this wide, as if the literal streets were not built to handle the number of people currently residing within the city. And everyone seems to be a bit on edge. The population is heavily varied. You see halflings, you see dwarves, you see humans, you see elves. There's even a couple other Uruk that you see. Tieflings you don't see a whole lot of, at least not here as you're entering the city. You are in the lower left corner of the map as you have approached the gatehouse that was currently the entrance way into the city of Mina's Grove. And after you've waited your turn in line, a man calls out, "Next!"
Step on up.
Don't recognize you. You new?
Yes.
Man across from you is a human man wearing plate armor. He has a shield set down next to him and also a sword currently leaned up against the wall. Doesn't look like he has used it frequently. It is relatively clean and freshly polished, so it's probably something that is more there for show, more there to let people know, maybe don't, if you're thinking of doing something stupid. And this man with short brown hair nods to you. Very well. All newcomers need to meet with the captain before they can be permitted entrance, especially given he looks over his shoulder at the very crowded walkway, given how many people are here. Let me see when I can pencil you in to speak with the captain. Well, how does next month sound?
Slow blink. And nobody gets in without that?
He looks out. As you look around, there are indeed a
At the line behind me.
there is quite a line behind you, and not only that, but there's also something of a tent city forming outside of people who are camping out, supposedly waiting for this. Or perhaps that's just where they've chosen to stay because they can't afford an inn room right now.
Okay.
Hard to tell. The man kind of sighs. What's your purpose for being here? What brings you?
Looking for someone.
Are they a resident here?
Not sure.
Okay. Why do you think they're here?
I was told they would be.
Oh. A miner, maybe? What do you do for a living? What is your profession?
Sellsword.
Oh. Are you competent?
She just sort of puts the hand on her axe at her side. I can handle my own.
He kind of looks you over, sizing you up. You are a very large and muscular woman. He nods. Eric, are we, captain's still looking for people who can use a weapon, right? Someone from out, beyond your vision, someone in a back room calls back. Aye? He nods. All right. You need to report to the captain immediately. He points. I'm going to open the gate there. You're going to head through, make an immediate right, and that'll take you to Mina's Arms. Third building down is the captain's quarters. Go there.
Okay. Well, that worked out well.
He stamps your papers, and you are permitted to pass through.
Okay.
As you enter the city itself, you are on the main road of the city, effectively named Main Street. Who'd have thought? To your right, there is a road that leads down along the city wall and forward, and to your right, another that leads towards what looks like maybe a bridge in the distance. You can't quite see because there's some buildings in the way. The main road continues all the way on down towards the north end of the city, and along to the right side of that is the massive Widow's Revenge Inn. It is just a building that is almost an entire block by itself. To the left immediately,
Hey,
you
Callie.
see... Yes.
I'm so sorry, but how many days is the bridge?
What? Oh, the bridge here?
Yeah, how many days is it?
To build or to cross?
Yes.
To build, it was probably a few months. To cross, probably a few minutes.
Good, thank you.
If that. To the left, there looks to be housing. It does not look in particularly good shape or particularly well kept. And further straight ahead and to the left, you see market stalls as far as the eye can see. There's a ton of them. Where do you go?
You said immediate, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it'd be the along the wall.
Okay.
Third.
You
one.
Go ahead.
Third one, right?
Yep.
Hey.
So you make your way there.
This leads.
Yep. So you follow your way along the wall, and as you arrive at the third building down, captain's quarters was an interesting way of phrasing that. This looks more like the jail of the place. There is definitely people being kept here. However, all four of these buildings look very... right now, they're very busy. There are people coming in and out of them almost constantly. The one to your right you recognize immediately is probably a barracks, just based on there's latrines around back. There's places for people to like shower and clean up. There's even a small forge area that people could work on their weapons. There's sparring rings and things like that. So you figure probably a barracks. This one is the only one that is walled with stone instead of with wood. The other three are all wood. This one is walled with stone, and there's a lot of bars in the windows. You sense probably this one is built for people not to get out of. The other to the left, one looks to be something of an administration building, and the other might be an armory, maybe. You're not quite certain, though. But as you approach this building, you enter, and there is a halfling. No, I'm sorry, a dwarf man sitting behind the reception table there. He has brown hair and a long brown beard that matches. He has red eyes, and he looks up at you as you enter. He's probably in his mid-30s, mid-40s. He doesn't look particularly young. He's wearing leather armor. He looks in. Picking up or dropping off?
Neither that I'm aware of. Guards at the gate sent me here to see the captain.
Oh. All right. Well, the captain's office is right down there. He points down this hallway. It's a very short hallway with a door at the end of it, and then another hallway turning off to the right. And as you move down that way, you can see that hallway off to the right definitely leads to jail cells. But the captain's office appears to be right here at the end. It is yep. So you knock on this oaken door, and a moment later, the door opens, and you see nothing until you look down. At which point you do see a halfling man. He stands 4 feet tall, very tall for a halfling, actually. Oh my goodness! Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome into the madness. He's very tall for halfling, and he wears heavy armor. His hair is jet black, and his eyes are brilliant green, and he's got a scruffy beard. Twin scars cross his right cheek as well. But he looks up at you and smiles. Wow, they are making them tall, aren't they? Very nice to meet you. What can I do for you?
I don't know. Your guards at the gate sent me in here.
Ah, okay, excellent. So you must be somewhat capable with a weapon then, maybe?
I'd say so.
Ah, very nice to meet you. Jock and Sagelin. So good to meet you. Captain of the guard here in Mina's Grove. And he holds out a hand to shake.
Full on crouch down to shake.
He has a surprisingly firm grip for someone as small as he is. However, he smiles like, and what might I call you?
Go by Brux.
Brux. Excellent name. I like it already. Okay. Well, we have plenty of things that need getting done here. You said you're good with a weapon. What's your specialty? What can I what can I expect out of you?
What do you need?
Mages. People who can take a hit. I need just about anything. I just need to know what I have.
Sort of a little of all of it. I have recently dabbled in some of the arcane, but started out most of my life arms.
I see. Well then, a jack of all trades. A Jacqueline of all trades. Sorry, don't see many Uruk around here. You are lovely, though. I love your tattoos. Are they were they done around here?
No.
Fair enough then. Okay. Let us see. And as he starts thinking about what to do, he goes over and takes out a form that he starts right now. So you said it's Brux, yes?
Yes.
Excellent. And what brings you to Mina's Grove?
Here to meet someone.
You're here to meet someone. So you have family here, friends here?
Let's call it an acquaintance.
An acquaintance. Well, quite a. No offense, but Mina's Grove is certainly far from anywhere most people just travel for the heck of it. Must be quite an acquaintance to come this far. Perchance a special someone?
Perhaps. I was sent to meet someone.
And who sent you?
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and say, Talia. Goddess.
Talia, the goddess of fate? That Talia?
That's what she introduced herself as. No reason to doubt.
Takes a long moment as he hears that before going, I'm just going to write down religious pilgrimage then. We'll go with that. Hey.
Hey, that works.
Anyway, as he's writing this down, a little bit of commotion is heard behind you as someone is being brought in behind you. You hear a man's voice call out, Captain, I've brought one in. This one's for the cells. And as you turn, you see a guard. He is wearing the standard mail of Mina's Grove. It looks very similar to the plate that the man at the gate counter or the gatehouse was wearing.
Mhm.
He has a helmet on, but you are able to see his green eyes underneath the helmet and some of his features. He looks to be middle-aged man. The person he is with, however, is a tiefling. She is tall, she is muscular, and she has midnight blue hair pulled back into a series of braids. Her obsidian black horns curve outwards from the top of her forehead, twisting once. And she wears leather trousers and a gray shirt with a black hide jacket that has a golden hand on it. Her hands are bound behind her back with rope, although you get the sense, as someone who has had to arrest someone before, this person could probably break those bindings if she really wanted to. She looks very strong.
Okay.
The Captain Sagelin looks frustrated at what he sees. Oh, again with this. And what happened? And the guard nods. Man in the markets said she was stealing. And he kind of gives a groan, and the woman speaks up. I have stolen nothing. I paid for what I was given. And Jockin looks torn, frustrated, as he kind of rubs his temples. All right, very well. Take her back to one of the holding cells. We'll put her in there for now until we can figure all of this out. And the guard nods. Do you want me to contact the constable, sir? No, I do not want you to contact the constable. You and I both know how that will go. We'll figure it out ourselves first, and then we'll figure out what to do. And man nods and escorts the woman away. Again, you get the feeling if she really did not want to go, she could probably do something about it. However, she does seem to take to being escorted off, or at least allow it. And Captain Sagelin kind of rubs his eyes. Anyway.
Many thieves.
Well, as crowded as things are right now, this is not how Mina's Grove normally is. There has been an uptick for certain of things going missing, people being accused of things, whether or not they've actually done it. And well, let's be clear. For being a tiefling, you know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Actually, I do need to go speak with them then, if that's the case, and it's not the best for me to take an armed retinue in there. I'll tell you what, you can make yourself useful. I will stamp your papers and approve you to be within Mina's Grove for whatever length of time you need, if you're willing to help me with something real quick.
Okay. Seems fair enough.
Excellent.
What do you need?
I will require some accompaniment to Lockheed's Haven to go speak on behalf of the one who has just taken in. Her name is Rashaya. I know her fairly well. If you would be willing to come with me, not as muscle per se, but as a guard, it is best that I don't show up with a retinue of knights. That will not go over well.
Simple escort.
Exactly. I will need some help. Go to the Widow's Revenge. It is the inn just up the road. You can't miss it. It's the largest building in the city. Yes, exactly, that one. You go there, find yourself a room, and get checked in. They should be one of the only inns that still have rooms left available. Once you've done that, ask for a girl named and you can see him struggling for a moment, trying to remember the name, and he calls down, "Hey, Argos, what was the fortune teller's name?" And the dwarf up front kind of glanced over. The fortune teller? You know what I mean. The one who reads the stars. Realta, sir. Yes, sorry. Yes, Realta. There's a girl named Realta who's staying there as well. She said she would be happy to be of use, and we might need one with a sharp mind for this. Go there and pick up a girl named Realta. Tell her that the captain has need of her. She will come back with you.
All right.
Excellent. Then he calls back, Argos, while you're at it, the tiefling. If we're gonna go venture that way, we might as well take a tiefling with us. That might make things a little bit easier. Is Kaldana still here? Did she set out? Argus goes, yeah, I just keep track of everybody in the city. Yeah, 1,000 people in the city right now, but I know where they all are. And Captain Jocelyn is not super pleased. He's like, shut the hell up. Go find her. And he nods and leaves begrudgingly. Jocelyn shakes his head. Sorry, I wish you could be finding us at our best right now, but we are far from it. Trouble at the mines has been a huge damper on things, especially because now everyone's here.
Okay.
So he bids you farewell and allows you to enter into the city proper.
All right. Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, we'll go and get set up for a room.
Great. You make your way towards the Widow's Revenge. By far the largest building in Mina's Grove, the Widow's Revenge sits just across from the myriad markets along the main thoroughfare of the city. It is a very large building of a classical design, although it doesn't actually appear to be very old. The wood on it looks relatively new compared to many of the structures in Mina's Grove. The building itself has 3 levels and takes up most of the block. Outside the large oaken door is a sign that reads The Widow's Revenge and has a sigil of 4 people standing around a table raising their glasses. Inside the main floor of the building is a large room with tables interspersed around it. Booths line the walls and have high backs, allowing a degree of privacy in the busy area. The back bar runs the length of the room and boasts 4 large oaken casks behind it, each with a different name on them. You've been in a number of inns and taverns. You have never seen one that has 4 different casks and theoretically then flavors of ale in there. That is quite unusual. That's a heck of a draw. And indeed, the bar area is extremely busy. Behind the bar is an Uruk woman. She is tall, with parts of her head shaved, leaving a shaggy black mohawk. She has a firmly set jaw and is very muscular. But what you notice about her, specifically, Brux, is that she is a flesh skin. She has no tattoo markings anywhere on her body.
That's certainly something. You said that's at the bar.
That's she's currently standing behind the bar. Yeah.
Is that like there's not like a separate the bar and then like
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be. There's like bar wenches running around and stuff serving drinks, but like she seems to be the one of like the most authority in the room that you can see.
Okay. I will approach slightly cautiously.
The Uruk woman looks up at you and you can see surprise on her face as she sees you, and she glances down at the tattoos on your arms and kind of gives you a grunt. Are we going to have a problem?
No, I won't if you won't.
She smiles. My name is Shara Soulborn. Nice to meet you.
Brooks, Autoborn.
Brooks. I've not seen one from the desert in some time.
Yeah, they tend not to leave.
Indeed, unless they're called in City A. She gives you a knowing look.
I'll just sort of just dead return the look.
She nods, as if she's seen it before. Well, welcome to Mina's Grove. What can I do for you?
Need to room.
Oh, of course. Well, probably one of the few places in town that has one. It'll cost you a silver a night.
Okay.
How long for?
Unclear.
You want to go by the day then, or?
Probably easiest.
All right. I require 3 nights down payment, and after that we can go by the day. Sound good?
All right. I'll just reach in, slide it over.
You hand her 3 silver. She nods. She reaches under and hands you a key. It is designated 24. And she nods. 3rd floor up. Top floor is all I have rooms for right now, but should be private. Should be comfortable bed for you at least.
And also, while I was here, I was told that there should be a dwarf staying here by the name of Realta.
She nods. Well, there's a lot of dwarves here, but Realta. Let me check the book. One sec. Realta, you
Yes.
are in one of the booths currently,
Mhm.
as you are just enjoying a drink at the moment, and you hear your name mentioned over at the bar.
Has someone asked for me? We'll stand up and walk over.
Oh, well, there you have her.
Nod my head in greeting. The captain sent me to seek you out. Some issue with potential thief, accused.
What would I? Is this a situation that's happened before with me, or?
So when you got to town, much like Brux, you went through a quick introduction to the captain. It was a lot less crowded here because you were one of the first people who got here.
Yes.
So it wasn't quite so hard to get in. You basically just had to say, "I'm looking to enter Mina's Grove," and he said, "Okay." But he did say that while you are here, as all people of Mina's Grove are, you are expected to help if needed.
And I have not found my quarry, correct?
You have not. You have
Okay.
not yet located the person you are seeking.
And I will look over. I see. Well, you know my name. May I have yours?
Brux Ottelborn.
She nods and then takes a step closer. Brux, there is a very important question I must ask you.
Blink, blink. Okay.
What was your favorite childhood meal? She just smiles, just as if not at all finding it odd.
I actually am broken. I don't know how to respond. He just sort of stares down.
You grew up in the desert.
Yeah.
Meals of
I
any
was-
real quality were very hard to come by.
Yeah, I was thinking they
Uh,
would be more practical based.
They would, although occasionally desert hare was something you might catch, and that was a luxury.
We'll definitely keep the just sort of blank stare for a moment before responding. When we could have it, hair.
So you recall in your childhood catching hare that was tasty for you?
Yes.
She nods, looking almost disappointed, and goes, "Very well. Unfortunately, you are not the one I seek, but you mentioned that the guard wished to speak to me. Guardsman,
Yeah.
excuse me. The captain. Very well. You may take me to him."
And just sort of turn and look at the bartender.
I definitely asked the bartender already.
Yeah, the bartender looks up. I like stew. That was my favorite meal.
Just one of those like, the fuck is this? Pocket the key and sort of, all right.
So you have a moment. You get to go upstairs and you drop off some of your heavier equipment that you would have brought, or maybe you don't need just this moment. And then you can return down and leave with Realta when you're ready.
Do I see her spider tattoo?
Make
It's
a
okay if I
perception check.
don't, but I was just curious. Okay. Perception check. Nope, I got an 8 total.
You do not see the spider tattoo, but you do notice that all the tattoos Brux has on her arms, and she has a lot. It's writing, like a tome has been written on her arm in so many ways, in her arms. But you notice that one of the larger letters right at the beginning is a spider web instead of a word. The whole word has been made into a spider's web.
It's one of those fancy fonts.
Brux, on the other hand, sitting on Rialta's cheek as you come back down, connecting two freckles along her cheek, is a silvery line on which a bird is perched, a constellation of a raven.
That was presumably not there earlier.
It definitely wasn't there, and it's also looking around. You can see its head turning.
All right, I'll file that away for now.
Good news. You both leave and make your way back over to the to Mina's arms. There, not only is Captain Sagelin waiting for you, but so is a tiefling who was found and brought over. Kaldana, you were flagged down by one of the guards who said that the captain was calling in a favor on you, and that he needed you to broker an introduction, which is a very weird thing for you to be asked to do since you don't know anybody here. Nevertheless, you not wanting to cause an issue with the guards, you found yourself now standing in Captain Sagelin's office as an Uruk and a dwarf both enter the room along with Captain Sagelin. Excellent. Realta, very nice to see you again.
The pleasure, Captain.
Brux, well done. Always nice when someone can follow instructions, especially the simple ones, unlike some people who I have to work with. Anyway. So, let me explain to you quickly what is going on. A woman named Rashaya has been placed under arrest, accused of stealing from one of the stalls in the Myriad Markets. She claims that she did not do it, and it is up to us to determine the truth of that factor, whether or not she did. And if she is guilty, we will report her to the constable, who will have her tried and punished. If she is innocent, we will release her. Simple enough, yes?
Did anyone else see the supposed crime?
The stall owner is our lead witness right now. We will go speak with him on our way to Lockheed's Haven. This woman comes from Lockheed's Haven, and as such, we would do well to go speak with them. The symbol on her jacket, I don't know what it means, but I know it's important, so they probably will know who she is. To that end, Kaldana, I was hoping you might be able to, introduce us.
You remember I'm not from here, right?
Sorry, I don't mean to imply that all tieflings know each other.
Is that not what you are implying, though?
No, I am implying simply that I think Kaldana's presence will be somewhat more accepted within the bounds of Lockheed's Haven than will anyone else's.
Realta puts her head to one side. Are the tieflings in Lockheed's Haven like those in the mountains? They kill those who cross their borders?
No. I don't think we will be unwelcome, I do believe, and if we act out of turn, there is certainly the likelihood that we would be, as you say, assaulted. However, they do not tend to attack on sight, although many people in this city would probably tell their children they do.
That seems like it'd be harder to manage. Civilized.
Indeed.
That is strange they tell their children that when they clearly do not.
Yes. Well, are you new here? Are you new to... Oh, that's right. You're from the Kartok Mountains, so you are. Yes. Although, do the dwarves of the Kartok Mountains not share similar stories about the demons of the mountains?
You mean the tieflings of the mountains?
If that is what you call them, yes.
Yes, they are in the mountains, and if you cross their path, they kill you. Thus I asked if those of Mina's Grove do the same, but it seems they do not.
That is correct. The ones of Mina's Grove are known as the firstborn.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, all tieflings are the first children of the goddess.
I suppose that is true, yes. They are all the first. But they refer to themselves as... They're not the Lockheed's chosen, even though they kind of are. The naming conventions are strange. No, he looks to Kaldana. No offense. You can see the look on his face. Like, I am batting 1,000 today.
Lana just rolls her eyes.
Realta will turn to Kaldana. It would seem that this captain would feel most assured if one that is resembling of your kind, even if not exactly of your kind, would accompany us as we go to Lockheed's Haven. Do you accept this mission?
I got nothing better to do.
I will ask you a question when we are done with this. But it is not important yet.
Jockin nods. All right. Well, I think we should take one more of us. Gets a very tired look on his face. Exhausted, in fact.
Oh, no.
He calls out Ashuril, and an elven person approaches. Is the prisoner still down in the final cell to the left? Ashril nods. Oh, yes, please. We really need to release him. My great-grandmother has been losing her mind. She says he's really important. I don't get it, but she says he is. I understand. Very well, then.
You have an important prisoner here.
He would certainly tell you so. Come. Let us. And so he takes you down the row of cells until he reaches the last cell on the left. Sir Varis.
Yep.
He was in jail.
You have been in the jail now for 3 days because it turns out if you eat in a restaurant and order almost everything on the menu and piss off the chef and then don't have any money to pay, they will call the guards on you. This is a difficult lesson to learn.
That's ridiculous. Do they not know what order I belong to? Did I not tell them?
You did tell them profusely.
Okay.
Strangely,
Several times, in fact.
they still had you arrested.
Must be an uncivilized land.
So the Captain Jockin approaches, Captain Sagelin approaches and goes, good Sir Knight. It is excellent to speak with you once again.
Sir Varis stands up. Ah, yes. My good sheriffman. It seems that 3 days have passed, and yet, still, you come to me empty-handed.
Yes.
I have
Well.
requested, very simply, that if I must be staying here, that you find the bird I am looking for.
We're
As
looking
yet,
for a bird.
as yet, you have brought me no bird.
Yes, I
It is
have.
a divine quest, I will remind you, one granted to me by Father Oak and Mother Ash directly. I would not interfere with the fate of the gods, if I were you. I fear for your soul, and what may befall you.
He looks at Ashril and goes, "This is who your great-grandmother is concerned about, huh?" And he just shrugs like, "Yeah, apparently." Well, as though I have searched greatly, I have not yet located a bird among the stars, but I am
Have you
still
found
searching.
a professional bird watcher, as I have requested?
There are not, surprisingly, there are not a great many professional bird watchers within the walls of Minas Grove.
That does not
Most of them
make
are miners.
sense, good Sir Sheriff. I am sorry to repeat myself, but the gods would not send me here incorrectly. Thus,
Right.
there either is a bird or a bird watcher. Perhaps an augur, someone who looks at the entrails of pigs and goats to foresee where the bird might be. Do you have any such expert?
I have a butcher. They look at entrails quite a bit, yes.
No, I have met this butcher. He will not let me back in the building.
That seems about right.
Sir Varis, why are you looking for a bird?
I have been quested to do such, my lady, by a great and powerful elder beings, gods, you see. I am a knight in their service, and so they have seen fit to give me a quest befitting of my title and my heritage.
Realta,
Yeah.
as you look at Sir Varis, you see on just for a moment dart across his neck a wolf tattoo. It darts across his neck and then around behind his neck, and then it comes back around his neck again, and then goes back behind, and then comes around again. And you realize this wolf is chasing its tail around his neck.
She'll kind of peer at this, nod, and go, "What sort of bird are you looking for?"
My lady, please, I understand that you may have not seen a man of this caliber in some time, but my eyes are up here.
I was simply admiring your moving tattoo.
Ah, my blessing. Yes, my temple has been graced by the mark of the gods.
Indeed. A god met with you and gave you a moving tattoo.
Two, in fact, for one god was not enough to deliver the message.
Everybody's got one of those.
See. And you are to look for a bird, you said.
Yes, I am to find a bird.
I see. Well, might this I will look at the captain. I think I may be able to assist in this matter.
You are a
The-
bird watcher.
The captain looks at you so desperately. Please, I beg of you.
She'll kind of look around. Where'd her raven go?
You don't see it right now.
Oh,
You're not quite certain where it is.
okay.
That
Well,
it is on your body somewhere.
yeah. Well, she'll kind of look around, shrug. I know where to find this bird, Sir Varis, but you must come with us. It is of
Truly.
great importance.
Well, my order has a long-standing friendship with your dwarven kindred. It would make sense that one would find a bird with a dwarf. How could I have not seen it sooner? It is
I
like
ha-
the ancients say, a stone in the hand is worth a bird also in the other hand.
That is a fascinating saying. She gets a pad of paper and just starts writing something down. Puts
I'm
it back.
sorry, what is that?
Paper for recording.
It is forbidden for us to record the sacred sayings of the order. They may only be transmitted orally.
That
You
is
may
fine.
keep it in your mind's eye.
Well, but Sir Varis, I am not of your order. You may not record anything, but I shall. She keeps recording this other factoid as well.
Sir Varis thinks about this for a moment. He can find no flaw in that logic, but he does not like it.
Sir Varis, I must ask you an important question.
Yes.
What is your favorite childhood meal?
Ah! Well, I suppose when I began to squire as a young boy, it would have been, honeycomb with the grub still in it.
She frowns for a moment. Well, suppose then it's not for each other, but that is fine.
Captain Sageland goes, "That is your favorite meal?"
It's the favorite meal I recall. I do not know what my mother and father may have cooked for me, but when I joined the order as a boy of 6, sometimes we would get treats, and many
Wait.
times I would be lucky as the other lads and lasses would pick their grubs out of the honeycomb, and I would have extra.
Wait, what do you mean you joined the order at 6? We don't even start accepting squires until 13.
Well, that is far too old for a squire. I squired for 18 years until my 24th birthday, at which point I was appointed a knight. Yeah,
Are you-
that's
are
me
you-
and 4 others.
Are you absolutely certain your parents didn't just leave you in the woods?
Well, I do not know their faces or their names, but if they did leave me in the woods, it was because they knew that the gods would grasp me, hence the name of the wood, you see, and guide me to the order. But from what I recall, was mostly a lot of beatings when I was very, very young as a lad. There's a lot you need to teach a 6-year-old about being a knight, and a good clap on the ears fixes us right up.
He is the one I'm looking.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Good Sir Knight. Oh, wow, Becca Bandit with a raid of 18 people. Welcome in. Thank you so much.
Barely welcome, newcomers.
We are doing the very first session of our of an alpha test of the campaign setting that I've been writing for Dungeons and Dragons, called Flickers of Divinity. The campaign itself is called The Whispers and Sounds, and some of the party are just now beginning to meet one another. So that's where you're all coming in as we get to know one another. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much, and thank you, Penrin, for the well wishes. It is going quite well so far, I think. Okay. So, well, good Sir Knight, normally it would be for the constable to try you and issue punishment.
I have wanted to meet the constable, as you know.
I do know, but I think under these circumstances, instead, it is best to levy a charge of community service against you and allow you on your way.
I shall always serve the community.
Excellent. We make for the area of the city called Lockheed's Haven, where we will investigate the guilt of one of the tieflings being held here and determine whether or not they are guilty of the crime they are accused.
Lockheed, like the attempted redeemer of the demon-born?
Yes, the goddess Laki. Yes, the goddess of heroes.
Right. I see. And why is this place named after such a controversial figure?
Controversial. You just called one of the most beloved goddesses in the entire world controversial, and he's like, "What?"
Oh boy.
Kaldana looks like she's about this far from punching his face. Right now.
you particularly are like, excuse me.
It seems
Okay.
Sir Varis' information is outdated.
Indeed, and then some.
I see. It's
I
a
sh-
different Laki. My mistake.
Sure. It's a different Laki. We will return your armor to you forthwith. It is musty and disgusting.
And my arms, please?
Right, of course. He goes and has the door unlocked, and you are finally freed. You're presented again with your armor and weapons.
I will don both.
Very well. And the four of you make your way out into the city and up towards the myriad markets.
Hail, I am Sir Varis. I have not had the chance to meet you all, but I am a knight, should you need to call on my service.
I am Realta. I am originally from the Raven's Crest Mountains, and I am here.
Raven's Crest. That is a bird. This bodes well. And you, my, he turns to Brux, marked friend. An interesting choice that you have made. What is your name?
My name is Brux.
Brux. Yes. Very good. Ah! I see. And, you, my,
Oh, God.
companion, you are, your name?
Kaldana.
And you know the accused.
Oh no.
Actually, Kaldana does not know the accused. Kaldana is
Oh.
not from here.
It's close. This
Ah,
close
we
to
are
beating his
delivering,
face in.
we are delivering Kaldana to her kin, then.
Actu-
Understandable. I shall protect you on your way. None shall harangue you simply for the sins of your forefathers, though they were grievous, and there were many.
Oh my God!
Jesus.
You know, I'd take them over you right now.
Okay. At that mention, it is Jock is like, okay, well, I'm so glad we can all get a chance to meet each other. This is going to go well, I can tell.
I agree.
Indeed, Kaldana, that was not the least offensive thing you've ever heard. It's in competition for the most offensive thing you've ever heard said towards you.
Varys believes in being first.
That said, you
Jesus.
can't remember it very well.
America of people.
You don't. People have said words to you before and things like that to you before, and it's made you angry, but you can't remember it. You just remember the feelings that it evoked, mainly rage. The myriad markets
Lots of
consist.
rage.
Yeah, a lot of rage. The myriad markets consist of a large smattering of tents and merchant stalls occupying the land on the western side of the main road in Minas Grove. They sell everything from groceries to trinkets to simple clothes and linens. The market area is quite noisy, especially right now as you enter, as it is more crowded than it has perhaps ever been. The whole city is just swamped right now. As you make your way through, it's loud as people are advertising their wares, trying to entice customers over. However, most of them are pretty good about clearing a path for the captain of the guard. He is obviously wearing his plate armor, and it has a sigil on the upper left side of it, signifying him as the captain of the guard. And most people give him a fairly wide berth as he passes through. As you reach the center of the market, this is more of a meeting area or a congregation area. Celebrations are happening here. people are gathered around. The tents here are largely dominated by fortune tellers, acting troops, dancers. They dominate the area. And there's also prepared food stalls here. There are many different things to get to eat in this area that are not groceries, that are already prepared and ready to go. So street food, basically, is common in this area. And it is in this area that you do see one person whose stall doubles as both. He has both an area for groceries and an area for prepared food. And as you walk over, it is Jockin who speaks up and nods. Behind the stall, there is a man of not super tall. He's probably 5'2" in that area. He has thinning blonde hair, and he has bright red eyes. He looks distracted when you get there and see him. He's wearing typical merchant's clothes, a shirt, trousers, large belt line with some purses attached to it around his ring belt.
Is it
But
tiefling?
no, he's a human.
He has red eyes.
He does. He has red eyes as a human.
Bright red eyes.
Bright red eyes as a human.
Kill it.
His attention looks very divided as you all arrive there. And Jockin kind of smiles. Jax. Understand that you made some pretty heavy accusations this morning. This guy does not seem to be paying attention to the captain of the guard. And as you look, you can see his gaze, which is currently centered on a dragonborn who is in the center of this area, singing and dancing and performing for the area. The crowd she has gathered is quite sizable. Interesting to see a dragonborn in the area. Not a particularly common race to find outside of the cities nearest the Soren mountain range, except for maybe in Stone's Throw. But somewhat uncommon in Mina's Grove. However, she is practicing, or not practicing, she's performing. And this man seems quite taken with her. And Jockin kind of glances between those, goes, "Bit young for you, eh, Jax, I would think, yeah?" And the man kind of whisks him off, and Jockin looks very frustrated.
Perhaps if
step
we
forward and turn him to face the captain of the guard.
Oh, hell yeah. Go ahead and make an intimidation check.
Ooh, I'm good at that, but I don't remember what I add to it. Hold on a sec.
That's charisma normally.
yeah.
Although in plus training, and then in certain circumstances, Callie can say you can use strength.
Yeah, I would say in this case, it would be strength. Actually, I would say for this one.
That makes sense.
By the way, Penryn says of Sir Varis, "I love this lawful stupid himbo."
Oh no.
What do you mean? He's just doing his best.
Yes, he is.
19.
Is he?
19.
Yeah, he comes from a very backwards place.
He's doing something, all right.
So
Ripping off the tiefling's what he's doing.
yes. So as you
Yeah.
grab him and turn him to face you, he freaks out for a moment and like jumps back and goes, "Get your hands off me." Can you come back in just a few moments? The lass is finishing performing.
He's
And
just gonna point down at the captain of the guard.
yeah, I see him. And Jockin gets a very annoyed look and marches over to the girl who is performing and looks up. "Excuse me, miss. I'm so sorry to interrupt." He gives a very polite smile and bows. "Hello, I am Captain Jockin. We met once when you first came into town."
Oh, hi. I don't know if you remember me, but I'm Melody. Hi.
"You are very unique and difficult to forget, Melody, and I certainly would not. I was wondering if you might accompany me for just a moment as I try to get the man over there to answer a few of my questions. He seems to be somewhat well distracted by your skillful performance." And he smiles.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just give me a really quick second, and she's going to
Of course.
turn around to the the crowd that she's gathered. Um, Mostly in the center are like little kids, and she kind of like does one vibrant strum with her lute and goes, "Thank you all so much for coming. I'll see you again tomorrow. You guys make sure you go back to your parents and you listen to them, okay? Your mommy and your daddy loves you."
The children all give the typical "oh" that a child gives when they find out the performance is over. But they all
I know. I'll be back tomorrow though. If
they
you're good little kids and you listen to your parents, maybe they'll take you over here again.
they
We can play.
all they all nod eagerly and run off to ask their parents if they can come back tomorrow, and their parents give varying reactions to that. But yes, Jockin bows his head politely and brings you over. Allow me to introduce you then. Melody, this is Sir Varis, and Brux, and Kaldana, and Realta. Everyone, this is Melody. She is a performer come to us from lands far away, so far away that I do not know where they are on a map.
Hail and hearty, Mistress Melody. Your singing was exquisite. Do you often sing for the children?
Yes. Well, not for the children, but I try to sing for everyone else.
This is
It's
quite a
fast-
gift that you give them.
Thank you.
It's fascinating to see you all the way so far from home. I must ask you some questions later.
Of course, yes. Don't ask me how I can get home. I don't really know how to get home myself.
Well, there are
Mi-
maps.
Mistress Melody. He leans in a bit. Do not be afeared of these people. They are a bit strange. Should you feel the need for protection, simply come to me, and I will make sure that you are safe. They are harmless. Simply, perhaps misinformed.
And she kind of like stares at you before like trying her best to do a curtsy and go, "Oh, well, thank you for your services, but unfortunately I can't hire you. I don't really have that much money on me."
It is no charge. I do not do this for money. It is my duty. I would.
You said duty.
Uh, Varys just kind of raises an eyebrow. Indeed, it is my charge. Uh, in this case, to make sure that the young and vulnerable are protected.
Oh, well, thank you. And she kind of like tilts her head, get like a little confused.
Varys just smiles like a moron.
Melody, on this man's cheek, there is a wolf that has sat down and is looking at your bear, which is on your hand right now. And the wolf, its tail is wagging 1,000 miles an hour as its tongue hangs out excitedly like it really wants to play. It's very excited about the teddy bear.
Is it a wolf or a dog?
And Melody just kind of like waves at Sir Varis, but not at Sir Varis. She's waving at the wolf. Hello.
Varys is very confused and waves back. Yes, hello.
Captain Jockin, meanwhile, is like, yes, well, anyway, now that we have your undivided attention, I was wondering if you might be able to tell us a little bit more about the woman who stole from you earlier today. The man thinks about it. Oh, right, the Scalaborn. Yeah.
Tiefling.
What?
They are tieflings.
I believe it means the same thing, doesn't it?
No.
He turns to Kaldana. They mean the same thing, don't they?
One is their chosen name.
Kaldana looks like she wishes she'd taken the other option when she met her deity.
This entire time, like, Brooks has just been trying to, without being forceful about it, just put herself between Ferris and Kaldana.
Yeah.
One is a name that that mortals have given due to unfounded biases, and one is the name from the goddess.
Yeah.
See,
So, all of you are aware, indeed, that Scalaborn is a very nasty slur for tieflings that they do not like, except for Rob, except for you, Varys, who that is I mean, you've heard people call tieflings that your
We-
entire life.
We use it all the time. I'm very surprised to hear this.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Melody, upon hearing Scalaborn, she goes, "That's kind of rude."
Varys goes, "It is?
Mm-hmm. They don't like it when you call them that.
Oh, I see." He sort of looks around. He seems embarrassed.
It's Jockin not only looks to you, Varys, but also to this man behind the stall. It is not a term one uses in polite company, especially not around the fairest. And the man, for a moment, looks a little bit cowed at that and goes, "The tiefling who was here this morning. Normally, she comes most days to buy groceries for the people of the haven up the way, and he seems to get uncomfortable for what. Most days, shortly after she's departed, I notice that more food has gone missing than she paid for. I don't. They have a difficult life, and I understand this. But it has
Uncle is-
happened quite a bit, and today it was a little bit more blatant than other days, so I called the guards, and they arrested her.
Did you
What-
see her do it?
You got proof?
Merely that I witnessed she came, as she always does, bought her groceries, and as so frequent, when she left, I noticed that some of the inventory was gone that shouldn't have been. This is not the first time this has happened.
You said this is a busy stall, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is in the center of the marketplace. Frankly, the grocery side of it maybe not as busy. The prepared food side of it very busy. It is next to two other stalls that are doing very well for themselves. There are a number of people who are there lined up currently to get something. Those two stalls are called Burgermeister's Beef Sandwiches and Bob's Kebabs.
Damn it.
I'm gonna have to try out one of those sandwiches.
Hey, our raids on girl run these worlds is closing up their stream. Looking for yes, raids are currently on. Absolutely. And says hi, I'm Def. I just came to see Becca about hosting now. Is she still in chat? I do not know if Becca's currently in chat, but if she is, I'm sure she will respond. You can't hear me though. Becca, if
Yeah,
you
but,
are in chat, please respond.
We got
Mal,
it.
Mal already got her.
Mal
I'm
already
sorry.
answered.
Thank you, Mal. Thank you, Mal.
We're
Appreciate it.
good. We're good.
I had that moment of like I'm speaking and
Yeah, you need to type it.
very well. Yes. So Burgermeister's beef sandwiches and Bob's kebabs are both performing quite well. This guy's stand is doing all right. There is another person over near the edge. They look to be an elf who is manning the stall and providing some of the prepared foods, prepared fried pastries and things of that nature. Girls run these worlds has followed. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. But yes, the man nods. So it is. Jockin looks at him. Well, that does seem somewhat circumstantial to levy a charge of theft at. Yes.
How much would you say was stolen in
much
terms
do-
of gold?
Yes,
And
how much
what
extra food?
exactly?
Well. He goes and grabs some of his. I've been trying to keep as much track of lost inventory as possible. So she normally comes, purchases about 10 to 20 gold worth of supplies, depending on what they need to restock on. And I typically would notice that an extra 5 gold or so would frequently, go missing as at the same time that she was here. This time an extra 20 gold worth had gone missing, and it just got to be more than I could stomach.
Good
Does it
sir,
happen
if
on
she were
days where she isn't?
go ahead, sorry.
Does it happen on days where she isn't here?
She's here most every day at this point.
She
Um,
purchases 25 to 30 gold pieces worth of groceries on a daily basis.
yes, she's what's their word for it? I'm sorry, I don't remember their term for it, but the tieflings of the haven don't exit the haven; they stay there, except for two that they send out to interact. So she purchases groceries for the entirety of the community.
I
Um,
see.
uh, Normally, it's her and a man that would rotate off, but I haven't seen the man in some time.
Wouldn't
And did these start when he stopped coming?
No, I would say the theft started probably about 2 weeks ago.
You never spoke her of it?
I didn't. Again, I didn't see her do it, and well, didn't want to embarrass her or cause us any undue commotion here.
I don't know. It's kind of a little more than worse than embarrassing to get arrested for something you may or may not have done.
I I suppose that is why you are all investigating.
uh, one question I have, do you have any belief or understanding of how you think that she may have moved nearly half the quantity worth of groceries that she normally purchases without your noticing? I mean, in physical volume, how much does she normally carry?
Ah, I spent some time trying to figure that out myself. Her pack is a unique item. It's it's the same pack that the man carries when he would come. I think they must have traded it off, or whoever went out. He They put things into it, but it never gets fuller. I don't quite know how to describe it.
Some
Other than
sort
that,
of sorcery, then.
Jockin speaks up at that. That would stand to reason. She had a bag of holding on her when she was brought in. It's currently sitting in the lockup.
And were the groceries recovered from that bag, Sheriff?
We have been unable to recover anything from that bag. One of our men put a hand inside of it, and he's in the infirmary currently.
Something hurt him?
It would appear it is trapped in some way.
Did you not ask her to show what she had bought?
She has been most unwilling to say or do anything since we brought her in. She just insists that she is innocent and she only took what she paid for. It is not uncommon. Tieflings of the Haven frequently do not like to speak to outsiders.
Well, not if you're accusing them
Wonder
of stuff.
why.
Please understand, I am doing my absolute utmost to help her. If I send her to the constable to have justice meted out, she will be found guilty. I am doing my best to help her by taking this investigation on myself.
How would she be found guilty if we don't know if she's guilty?
Because she will be tried amongst a jury. 7 people. Majority rules. She will be found guilty. She's a tiefling.
But if those people are attempting to decipher the truth of the matter, why? I don't
You're
understand.
making an assumption they'll actually try.
Jockin points to Kaldana. This is one who understands the way of the world.
Varys sort of looks at Kaldana. I see. Right.
We would do well, then, I think, to try and learn as much as we can. If we can determine that there is no good reason to continue to hold her, we can release her.
You say that you suspected her for a long time.
You're speaking to the guy behind the counter now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Presumably you set a tighter watch.
Indeed. It is, I do my best to keep an eye on her when she's, about. However, as you can see, it is just me and, the lady here, manning the stalls, and, especially over the last 2 weeks when it has been as crowded as it has been here, that has been significantly more difficult to do with just the two of us.
So are there others that are purchasing at the same time that she is here, given this crowd?
Frequently.
Ferris raises his
Perhaps
eyebrow at that.
the same people.
Do you mean the same people every day?
Yes.
No. These, I mean, there are some repeat customers, I'm certain, but not every day. She comes at a relatively regular time every day, usually just before high noon.
Did he say there's another person that helps him out, or is it just him?
He did. There is an elven woman. She has short, silvery hair that goes down to her neck. She has a long white apron on, and she is currently manning the prepared food area, selling fried pastries.
And did your associate see any of this?
No. Hilda has been manning the prepared section. You're welcome to speak with her if you like. Although usually I'm the one who manages the groceries.
Well, I suppose we should see if she seen anything.
It is true. She is another witness.
You head over. You see there is a woman there, as I said, with short silvery hair. She has preparing pastries and also seems to prepare a beverage. It is made by pouring hot water over some of these dark beans, and then making a mixture of milk and sugar within it.
Sounds strange.
She looks up and smiles. Welcome. What can I get for you?
We are actually here for an investigation.
Madam, I am Sir Varis of the most honorable order and most ancient order of Oak and Ash. Um, I come to you now to beg some information if you could assist us. We are looking to defend a woman's honor, or else defend a good grocer from unscrupulous theft. We have been commissioned to decide the facts of this, and we require your elf eyes to help.
She gives you a look like, Sir Varis of the Order of Oak and Ash. I believe
Most honorable and most ancient order of Ash, yes.
Yes, I believe I heard stories from my grandmother about you.
You have a very noble grandmother, then.
Yes, she said if I were to ever meet one, I should do my utmost to assist. So I shall.
Strange.
What can I what can I help with? You no doubt refer to Rashaya.
Yes, it seems that she groces here relatively regularly, and it also seems that items have gone missing. There is speculation that, in relation to this, he turns to Kaldana for a moment. Young tiefling. He looks at you again as he says it, and looks for confirmation that he did it right.
She
Jock
doesn't
gives a
look
thumbs up.
impressed, but she doesn't look angrier.
Jock's-
Reality kind of like that thing Hiccup did when
Yeah.
Toothless was courting the other one,
Yeah.
the other Night Fury.
Yeah.
That's what she's doing.
Big thumbs up.
Yes. Perfect. Great. Yes, this young tiefling woman. There is suspicion that because she possesses a item which can contain vast quantities of groceries, in this case, without changing shape or size or weight, that she could be the culprit. But it is significant and repeated, at least for 2 weeks' time. What say you to this? Have you seen anything else suspicious going on? And please, I beg you, spare no detail. A woman's honor is on the line.
Yes, of course. Well, yes, terrible to hear about Rashaya. She's a hand of the goddess for the people of the Haven, the good people of the Haven. She kind of casts a glance back at the other man. Yes, I have heard that groceries tend to go missing when he comes about. I as I'm sure you were told, it is my job to prepare the lattes and prepare the fried pastries. So I don't often get to converse with her or see her. I have spoken a couple times. For a tiefling woman, she is somewhat more into conversation than many that I have attempted to speak with. I listen. If it were up to me, I would just drop the charges entirely. But this is not my store. She's a very nice woman, and I feel for her people.
That's good. I appreciate that. Have you or any of your fellows, besides this one stall, noticed anything else missing? And does she shop anywhere else with regularity?
She most often does come to this stall. I believe she's been here every day for the last 2 weeks, which is kind of unusual. Normally, there's a man who seems to alternate with her. Not quite tall like she is, a shorter man with horns that kind of curve back instead of hers, which go out. But I haven't seen him in some time. But he did wear the same jacket that she did.
I see.
Um,
Sorry, Kaldana. Is it rude if I ask if they're related?
He looks out. Yes, probably.
It's more of I don't think she can answer the question of that.
I don't know. She looks at
Have no
Kaldana.
fear.
She looks at Kaldana nervously. They have similar hair color.
Have no fear. If it is rude, I shall not ask it.
Yes, of course. But there is something that I would point out. Some of the other shop owners that I've spoken with have said that some things have been going missing. They mentioned, to be clear, it's not particularly unsurprising that there is an uptick in things going missing, as many people as are around right now. Ever since the mines have been shut down, there's been nowhere else for the miners to go. So everyone who normally would be working over in Mina's Reach is here instead. The results of which there's a lot of tension in the city right now that normally isn't here. But some of the other shops have said there's been an uptick in some things going missing over the last couple weeks. It may be nothing, but I will say I've not seen her shop at any of these shops.
Are they all food items?
No, actually. Oh my goodness. Girls run these worlds. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. Thank you so much.
Human friends.
Welcome
Hello.
in. Welcome in,
Hello.
everybody. We are doing the very first
Hooray.
session of a campaign that has been 8 months in the making. Egg Glasses, thank you so much for the follow. Exo Girl Wonder, thank you so much for the follow. I started writing my own D&D campaign setting about 8 months ago called Flickers of Divinity, and we are starting the alpha test of it tonight. As we are currently working our way through our first session. Our players have all been given a charge by a goddess of this world to prevent a coming catastrophe or calamity, and they have all been sent to the city of Mina's Grove to seek out some various people. They've all been given a clue as to who they are seeking out, and currently they are all working on a task to determine the guilt of a tiefling woman who was arrested for theft, and they have been charged with ascertaining whether or not that is the case. So, but yes, the Illuminati, they have all reported some various things have gone missing. One of the trinket dealers over there, as well as one of the linens, the clotheries in the area, also reported some things going missing when I was speaking with them the other day.
It is not necessities then, but things of luxurious nature, such as jewelry and fine clothing, that has been stolen.
There is one more thing. He kind of leans over away from the other person. I a week ago, when something went missing, I did see something. Someone who may be responsible. I think they were a halfling. They were very small and covered in a kind of ratty cloak of sorts. I didn't get a look at who they were, but they were shorter for certain. Uh, uh, and yes, I didn't see much, and I've never seen them again. And food has continued to go missing, but well, probably all I can help you with.
I turn to the sheriff. I say, I'm so sorry. This must be very embarrassing for you.
You talking to the captain of the
Yeah.
guard?
He's a halfling, isn't he?
He is a halfling.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
he
I'm very
looks
sorry.
over.
This must be very embarrassing for you.
He he look. Are you suggesting that I'm the thief?
Hmm? Oh,
He's
no,
not wearing
I
raggedy
just
clothes.
no, of course not. I assumed you knew him.
Are you, Sir Varis?
Yes.
I do not have time to break down for you the litany of things that are wrong with that sentence.
Ah, would you be willing to make time later? I don't know that I understand.
I have a cell ready and waiting for you.
Sir Varis notes this.
He's
Is it
Right.
the
Varys
same
is,
cell?
Varys is a human, right?
Varis is an elf.
Varys is an elf, yes.
Do you know all other elves?
I knew all the elves that were knights.
How many is that?
Oh no.
What about
Oh,
the ones in this city?
no, I haven't seen any of these before. But I don't live in this city.
Any of these?
Yes.
Great.
Well, like,
No, that's me. That was a Melody.
Oh,
yes.
Well, I think we
Melody
have.
this entire time has been staring at the concoction that that's on Hilda's stall.
Uh,
Perhaps
there.
there are a few more citizens here than were in the forest. I
Perhaps,
can
yes.
see how it would be difficult to remember every name. Do you perhaps write them on stones like we do?
I thought you did not write things down, that all information was passed orally.
Well, we don't write them anymore. There are some older names on stones, though we can't add to them now.
Dang it. He writes this down.
All right. Melody. Hilda notices you looking, and she smiles and brings over a cup of this beverage that she creates, as well as a fried pastry, and smiles for your delightful song. It was quite nice.
And you see like Melody just like look at it and then to Hilda and then look at it. And the loudest stomach growl um comes from her. And she goes, "Oh, I couldn't. It
Uh,
smells lovely. No,
I insist.
I've never had this before. What is it?"
This is what is called latte. It is delightful. Uh, yes, it is made by boiling water over beans, and then it is mixed with a foamed up milk, sugar
Milk, like from an
Ooh.
animal?
from a cow. Yes,
You drink what comes out of there?
she
It-
gives you a rather strange look. Good Sir Knight, do you not consume milk or anything from animals in the forest?
Oh, we consume many things from animals, but never milk. That's for baby animals. Why would I drink it?
Knights do not consume past adult.
That's
I see.
most interesting.
Um,
How do you make it foam? What creature creates foam milk?
well, I use actually it's a device that a gnome actually gave me once.
You're drinking no milk?
Certainly not.
No. The gnome created the device, which created the foam within the milk from the cow.
You should listen to this one.
Oh.
It smells delightful.
I very much hope you enjoy it. And tell your friends.
I will, if I had any.
That is very sad. Um okay.
Sir Varis thinks that's
Well,
very bad too.
Well, I made friends, but I don't really stay long enough for us to be friends. So
I understand. Well, then have a lovely day. He kind of looks away like, oh boy, I'm not dealing with that.
We don't have time to unpack that one.
Yeah. Uh,
We have time to unpack this? No.
Jockin,
No.
Jockin nods. Well then, I do believe we have learned all that we are going to learn here. It might serve us well to go and speak with the people of Lockheed's Haven.
That, and it seems that perhaps a marketplace who may have seen this halfling.
Well then, I will
Yes.
have some of my men look around and see if they can't find any information on this halfling that is around while we make our way over to the Haven.
I
See,
do hope they don't get confused with so many halflings.
How many halflings do you believe are in this city?
More than a dozen at least.
I would. He thinks about it for a moment. Yeah, that's probably right. But okay. Anyway, Wet Knight, thank you so much for the follow.
Oh, is that
So-
Sir Varis?
Jesus, the Wet Knight. So you make your way northwest, and you first exit out of the north side of the market, and across the street you can see a number of buildings. These are standalone shops that are not part of the marketplace. They are clearly some better performing shops, or ones at least that have been around long enough that they can afford to have more than just a tent and stall. They're actually mortared in place stores. You note a couple of the names of them. One of them is called Pages. Looks to be a bookshop of some kind. And the other is called Bjord's Swords and Boards and looks to be a smithy.
Okay. All right.
Fascinating.
Noted.
You take a left and start your way down the road, and I will mark on the map exactly where we are and where we're going. Yoink. We are currently right here, and you're making your way down to there. You make your way down to Lockheed's Haven. It is an unusual place. In the northwest corner of Mina's Grove sits a city within a city. The outermost buildings facing the street, when you first get there, they seem abandoned. Their windows are all broken out. They're crumbling, falling apart. Some of the front walls of some of these buildings have actually given away and just fallen apart. It gives a very dark, very unwelcoming presence to it. The alleyways are also very dark and not pleasant to look at, as over all the roofs, large cloths have been hung, connecting roof to roof and blocking out most of the sunlight. There's a colorfulness to them. They are quite lovely, actually, but it creates a rather unwelcoming feeling in the alleyways down below.
Damn,
And
you live like this?
who is that to? Kaldana?
Just the world.
Oh,
Whoever-
God.
Whoever's there.
Wow. Jockin glances back to the party and nods. All right, well, this is Lockheed's Haven. It can be somewhat tricky to actually get in, but follow me. I've been once before. We'll see how that goes. And he starts to lead you down into this alleyway. And it's weird traveling through the alleyways of Lockheed's Haven. No matter which way you go, it seems to take you back out another alleyway back towards the entrance. You never seem to be able to go any deeper. And indeed, a number of times, Jockin seems to like turn and then see the exit back out into the street again and go, damn it. And go another direction, turn, damn it. He's getting more and more frustrated as he goes around trying to remember his way through here.
Can I give Jockin some help?
You may absolutely give Jockin some help.
I'll lean down to Jockin and say, good sheriff, I had a similar problem in a forest. Please be sure not to pass wind. There may be a god behind you.
Jockin has a 1,000-yard stare on his face.
May
Ferris
I
looks like
What?
he's given some very wise advice.
Just full on fish eyes.
may I use my cartographer skills to be a help?
Yes. I will allow you to use your tools to try and kind of map out
Yes.
where you're going, so you can figure out. Okay, wait a
We
minute.
have to divine the stars to find this.
No,
This
she's
is
not.
a big place.
It is. This is actually a very large. Like it is a city within a city. It's very large. This whole
Holy
section.
shit. We're
It is
like,
all.
hey, can you tell us where north is? We are lost.
It is almost the size of the entire Myriad Markets. It's very large.
Ooh.
So, go ahead and make a roll for that. You may make it with advantage.
25.
25. Very good. Very good. You take out a piece of paper
Damn.
and you start just mapping down some of the buildings and thinking, okay, this is where we have to get to. And as you start going through, you start to see the problem. The way some of these building walls have collapsed, it's actually making you turn to get around the rubble. And it's so subtle that, like, whoever did this is actually quite masterful. It just directs you back out without you even realizing that you've turned.
Incredible accidental using property damage to help lure people out of here. It's quite interesting.
Wait,
And
so this is some sort of maze.
Indeed.
Well, this explains everything then. The missing groceries, the maze, and now this. These were fought during the War of Skala. I know what these are. We are
What?
facing a demonic minotaur.
Jock
I had been hoping that it wasn't this. They have massive appetites, but the maze seals it. We must be on our guard.
Sir Varis, if I may, minotaurs have not been seen for hundreds of years.
Well, it seems we are soon to see one. Behind me! I am prepared for such a fight. We shall
Well-
claim its horn as our own.
Worry not. If we find our target, the minotaur may not overcome us if such a minotaur exists.
Jockin's like,
Think so?
okay.
Realta just gives Jockin a wink.
Well, I suppose I shall rely on you, Lady Augur. Guide us then to the light. But no, my sword is ready. Unless the Minotaur should have two horns, then we are doomed.
Okay. Utilizing your map, Realta, you realize that there is a spot that you're passing by where there is a large, another building wall. And you realize as you go by that actually there shouldn't be a building here. It looks like there's a building here, but there shouldn't be one based on what you can see from the outside of the area. And as you start pulling away some of the debris in front of it, indeed, it is just a wall, not an actual building. And there is a large hole in it that leads deeper in to Lockheed's Haven.
I believe we must go inside. Now, we may
The
not face
Minotaur's
minotaurs.
lair.
Now, Varys, I do not know about minotaurs, but there may be rats here.
Rats?
Mhm.
The giant kind, you think?
Potentially. Your sword will be useful in that case.
Well, now this is a knight's quest. Yeah.
So,
Sir Boros the Rat Slayer, I remember him well. He slew the Queen of Rats, as large as she was. Massive. They say 3 times, or, well, that's not very impressive, 300 times the size of a normal rat. He was one of Gala's greatest generals, so the legends say.
Melody is just like following the story with like you could swear she's nodding so fast it looks like her head is vibrating.
Rialto's writing this all down.
Jockin looks at the group. Right.
Do not fear, my good halfling sheriff friend. Should the Queen of Rats' daughter be here, we will slay this princess. Do not worry, for today I am the dragon in the tower.
Anyway. And he just turns away from that and starts leading you all in.
Oh my gosh, but this is so delicious. Have you ever had this something that's so delicious? It's so rich and aromatic, and I can't stop talking. Oh my gosh, my thoughts are going a mile a
You
minute.
do seem slightly hyperactive.
Am I? I'm not talking too fast, am I?
Well, I don't really understand what you just said, but I mean a little.
Honestly, I appreciate fast speech. It makes talking take less time.
Yes, exactly. And there's a lot of that I get that I can talk about. I mean, there's also the fact that Sir Varis is kind of rude, but also kind of stupid. It's kind of weird. There's like a thin line over there, and
Did you
every
say
time he talks, I see our tiefling friend. I don't know if we're friends if we're friends yet. I don't know if you heard, but I don't get to know someone long enough for them to be friends, and sometimes they
Don't
don't
say
want
that
to be
again.
friends with me. And huh?
Hmm?
Hmm?
No, yes, we are all friends, young one. Have no fear. Kaldana, and Realta, Brux, and we are a party.
Oh, perfect. That's great. Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Melody. I come from the mountains, and I'm trying to be a performer, and I'm lost, and my mom and my mama might be a little worried that I have been gone for years, and I don't know if they know that that market was also, well, not the same market, but I also kind of lost them in that marketplace. I kind of
Right?
joined them when they were out
Yes.
with performing and stuff, and that's how I know all of the songs. I kind of wrote some of them, but they're not as good as my mom or my mama's.
Melody, what is your favorite childhood food?
That's a very good
Be careful with this
question.
question. She never likes the answers.
Hmm, that's very tough. I kind of like something that it was I don't really remember what it was called, but like it was some kind of like roasted roasted um some kind of roasted meat. It was like kind of slathered in some kind of sauce, and we kind of rolled it over and over and over and over an open fire, and then and then and then when we get to eat it, it's like it's got all like crunchy skin, and but it's very tender and juicy inside, and it was really nice when it got really cold and stuff, because then we can also get some kind of like um green, it's not kind of like a soup or a stew, but like but it was like some kind of like it got kind of like sticky and stuff, so like when and oh and it all and we could also put some eggs and chives in it and stuff like that, and
Mm.
and we can oh my gosh, it's still
It
happening.
it seems your memory is not clouded.
Hmm?
Really?
No,
You figured that out?
Well, that's much many details in her memory, so therefore it is not the one I seek. But
well,
thank you. That sounds pleasant.
my mama makes the meat better, but my mom, she makes the sticky soup. Yes, I think I'll call it sticky soup. I don't know. I don't remember what it was called, but it was some kind of like grainy soup, but like it was all sticky and stuff. And then you can put egg and chives and some kind of liquid. I don't really remember, but it made it really, really, really sour. But it was really good because it balances it and stuff. And oh, I could write a song about this. And she she kind of like starts strumming
Sir Varis is going
on
to
the lute.
very slowly see if she'll let him take the cup away that she's been drinking.
Yeah. Uh,
Cup is long gone. She's just like just standing in place and just kind of like just kind of like balancing on the balls of her feet.
See. Caldana, was there something you wanted to say?
yeah, at the like comment about her being able to remember her past, Kaldana looks a little awkward.
Hmm. I didn't ask you yet. That was my important question. Caldana, what is your favorite childhood food?
Callie, what happens when I try to remember?
As you train to think back on what your favorite childhood food is, the phoenix tattoo on you makes its first appearance, no longer hiding in your armor. The tattoo races up your body and alights in the dead center of your forehead, and it glows brightly. And Caldana, it does not feel good. It hurts, and you cannot remember a thing.
Oh my goodness.
The Minotaur!
I
Is
that
that
is
magic? Are you magic? Are you? Oh my goodness, it's a very pretty bird. Why is it glowing like that? Is it supposed to glow like that? Is anyone else seeing this bird?
Yeah, it
Caldana, are
fucking
you
hurts
well?
when it glows.
Hmm.
I bet
Uh,
you didn't do that.
the moment you stop trying to remember, the phoenix kind of just returns to normal and continues floating around. It's now flying around your face.
That is a very interesting figure on your skin.
Figure. It it lit on fire.
Indeed, it was on her skin.
It
I'm
wreathed
more
her head in a bright light.
I'm more interested in the movement of it. A lot of us seem to have such a thing.
Wait, do you all have moving tattoos as well?
Sir
do.
Varis for sure has not noticed that anybody else had a tattoo, and is very surprised to hear this.
Jockin looks up. Wait, you do?
You do?
I don't know, but I mean, I guess I saw the one on Kaldana, and
Oh my god, you must feel so left out.
he looks a little annoyed.
Realta will step closer to Kaldana. Were you unable to remember? Her eyes just get really wide.
It gets mad when I try to remember.
One whose past is clouded. Very well. After this mission, we must speak further. You are important to my mission.
We must speak now. There is a demon bird run by a minotaur attempting to take over her mind.
Where?
No. I believe, she seems to be, like, thinking, like, when Sherlock Holmes is deducting something together. Sir Varis, you mentioned that you passed wind in front of a goddess, yes?
Did I? I wouldn't mention it if anyone had.
You went
I
in.
would.
You said it to Jockin.
You
The guy was
have-
like,
you-
yes, you did.
You have better hearing than I thought, Augur.
It was behind me when you said such a thing.
A dangerous place to be if history is any indication. But yes, such a thing did happen.
See, and therefore, if the pattern is similar to mine, then Kaldana here is chosen just as you are.
What? Because she farted?
No, because of the tattoo that is.
Oh,
moving.
thank goodness! I was very afraid that is what linked us all. That we had.
I do
Farted
remember
on the
the
god.
fall, right?
Through farts?
Belly.
Mel-
Did you fart while you're falling?
Probably.
They say you shit your pants when you die.
Sir Varis' eyes grow wide. Melody, dear child, I hate to ask you, but did you pass wind on one of the gods?
Not on one of the gods, but I have I have farted. I don't exactly remember if I farted today.
So
but
you could have farted on one of the gods, is what you're saying.
maybe.
I'm sorry.
It's a possibility. Brux, brawny Brux, tell me. We have to know. This may be what links us all. They say that Father
so
Oak
sorry.
is a master of the winds. Perhaps Father Oak is guiding us through flatulence. Gods can work in mysterious ways. Tell me, Brux, have you ripped ass on one of the gods?
Just stares flat. No.
Say this. No? Well, I suppose then that must not be it.
Kelly, I remember the fall, right? Like that's basically the
last
first
thing
thing
you-
I can remember.
The last thing you remember is wham. You remember waking up. You remember being
Last thing
laying.
you remember is wham. That's what you.
I would say you
But
don't
I
really
know that
remember.
I died.
Yeah, you know that you died. You remember hitting the ground and looking up in the distance, being able to see where you'd fallen through. You can summarize or figure out in your head that is what happened, that you fell. And you remember the voices calling.
Yeah, Kaldana's actually gonna flip up. I died actually.
Hide.
I'm sorry.
Jockin puts a hand up. We do have a very big thing against necromancy in this city, so what?
She's just gonna point to the phoenix.
Oh. He looks at it. That is a
Wait, so
symbol
if-
of the Red Lady.
Red Lady. Ah, the prophet of rebirth.
Wait, so if you're dead but you're alive, how did you what? Huh? I'm confused.
He looks at Realta for a moment. The prophet of rebirth? The goddess of rebirth.
The prophet. There is one goddess.
Well,
He looks
There.
at you.
there is one goddess, but there's also a god with her.
No.
Father
There's-
Oak.
There's quite
Although
a few-
I have seen Father Oak as a goddess. Now that I
Yeah.
think about it.
You know, there's a book that you all should read. If you just go or up the road to Pages, there is a book called Callie's Guide to Gods and Goddesses. You're
Oh,
gonna
I'm
want to check that out.
I'm aware we have the tome.
My order has some rules about reading, so
Yes, they don't
That
write anything
sounds
down.
I got it. I know what we can call ourselves.
yes.
The Fabulous Flatulent Five.
God damn it.
Sir Varis raises his eyebrow. I don't hate it.
We will workshop it.
Jockin just looks around. All right.
Maybe I should have chosen death.
Well,
I believe we have a mine to get to. Is that what you were about to say?
well, we the Haven actually. I thought we were gonna go check that out.
Oh, sorry. Is that
Oh.
what? Sorry, is that what this is? The hole
We
here?
were in the middle of something.
We were going to Lockheed's Haven. Yeah.
Yes, we were in the middle of coming up with our name, I believe.
I don't
That can wait.
think. Okay.
I've already
Well,
forgotten
I
what we were
found
doing
found
here.
this hole.
Well, the hole leads to the Haven.
Oh,
Was it made for
very
you?
well.
This will allow us to get into the Haven proper. They've done a very good job of sealing it off. And
Yes, it's quite impressive. Almost feels like I'm not invited in.
Wait, is
that
this
is
their
probably very much what they would like you to think. Yes.
I see.
Home? Well,
I see.
we can't enter a home uninvited unless there are demons inside. Are there
Are we
demons inside?
vampires?
Jockin,
Yeah.
are you?
No, we're honorable men and women.
Jockin looks to you, Varys. That's the line?
Yes. Of course.
Kaldana, may I impose something upon you? You can hear it out before you agree to the terms.
Otherwise, it would just be rude.
And
Indeed.
what is it?
Well, considering that we do not know what we will come out of, and I know that these are not the people that you have grown up with, as you are from another place, even though your past is hazy.
Yes,
I believe
learned that today.
I believe if you, I believe if you are perhaps the first to go through the hole and then can help us out after, it will be a little safer, and perhaps the good people of Lockheed's Haven will be a little less threatened by a group of non-tieflings entering through this hole.
Kaldana, if they call themselves the firstborn and you go through the hole first, you could call yourself the first hole. He smiles. He thinks this is a good idea.
Gonna completely ignore this and go through the damn hole.
Oh, it seems she agreed to my terms. We may proceed.
Kaldana, so Kaldana, as you pass through this this hole, it leads into another section of alleyway that was previously inaccessible. You all watch as Kaldana disappears into darkness for a moment before emerging on the other side, and that is where we'll pick things up next week.
Yay.
Woo!
Woohoo.
Kaldana first hole. An excellent